Up.
Did you send the link yet?
Did I send the link? Oh, was I supposed to send the link? Oh shoot, I'm supposed to send the
Yes.
link. Oh damn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Otherwise I cannot tell my friends like, hey.
all right, we are live, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys a Girl on the podcast. Send the check the chat box, Merel. It should be
Oh yeah,
the link
got
should
it.
be in there. Apologies for the late start. We have are we ever on time? Are we ever gonna be on time? But yeah, today we've got a very special guest with us, and goes by the name of Mayce, and I'm also joined by my co-host Merel and Given. Welcome everyone, and it's been a great week. How have your week been for you guys? That
Well,
you know what? I'll go
I,
first.
I'm over here on the left though.
Okay. All right. Uh.
Right. Well, if, as you can see, the backdrop is a little bit differently than
Yeah.
it is
You got
normally.
the.
It looks a lot better, but that's because I'm taking care of a friend's pets while she's away on holiday. So there's a rat cage over here, and she's got a lot of reptiles in a different room. So that's where I'm at right now.
Nice. And Given, how's your week been? We'll get to you, mate, because I really want to hear what you have to say. We'll get to you.
Is the best for last.
Yeah, always. That's how we do
Of
here.
course.
That's how we do
My
here.
week's been my week's been good, man. Working a lot of work. Last week I was obviously off. This week has been more chill because I just came back. Last week I was in Italy, chilling,
Ooh, which part?
seeing
Mm.
Milan.
Say
Uh,
so nice.
yeah, it's Milan. I told Caleb the story about what happened, and it was like something out of a movie, and I was like, holy, what are we doing here? But I'm glad I go gym for that purpose. You do
You
stay
never know.
alive.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. But it was yeah, it was really good experience, and yeah, came back, got to be chill, nothing too crazy. So yeah, just enjoying life, man. Enjoying life.
And you, Mace. What have you been up to? How is where you from, by the way? Which part?
I'm in the at the moment in Oslo.
Noj. Noj.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, yeah.
Oh well,
Yeah. That was
here
so good. That's a
here she
place.
comes. Here she comes with the correct, precise pronunciation.
Jag
To
pratar
go with
lite
all that.
svenska då.
Huh?
Wait, do you speak Swedish? Ah.
Ja.
Why do I even?
Yep.
Given, why do I
Ja,
try? Why do I do
bara,
this?
bara
Why do
lite,
I
bara lite.
Oh
Men
Lord.
jag vet hur norska låter.
Yeah. They had. So
They
we can
have.
switch it up.
We can switch it up.
Varför
If
vi
we
är
have
Ja, visst.
all I know of Swedish is
Jättebra.
What does Jaeger mean, by the way? That's all I know in
so
Swedish.
good.
Jäger?
Yeah.
That's a drink.
Jäger
That's
is German for hunter.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also a drink.
I don't even know. So, like, what's life like in Oslo?
You know what? Lately it's been good. I still miss London life and the lifestyle in London. It just cannot compare.
Mm,
Um, but lately it's been good, especially since the sun is out. People are just automatically happier.
I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like more open. There's more things to do. You go out, you meet people. There's more activities.
Nice.
So yeah, I have been feeling very. I don't know. I've been feeling very light and hopeful. There was a period where things were a little dark and like heavy, and with business and everything. But lately, I've been feeling very light, hopeful, and just like inspired. It's been good.
That's
So,
good.
what do you do? What do you do for work? I hear that you are killing it in the streets in this entrepreneur game. What do you do?
We try. Well, I'm a certified mindset coach, so
Oh,
I
nice.
work with individuals. I specifically work with women, focusing on releasing limiting beliefs on a subconscious level. So I love everything that has to do with the mind and understanding how we're programmed subconsciously and how we can shift our subconscious mind. Because quite
I love
often we
that.
want to,
Mm,
people talk about change and they say stuff like, change the external, so changing your habits, changing maybe your friends or the environment, which is all great. But if the subconscious mind, if you have beliefs that says you're not good enough, or that you can move to different countries, different cities, stuff that I have done myself, but that belief is still there. So you can change your clothes, change your looks, change your friends, change your environment and whatnot. But if your subconscious belief is still the same, nothing will ever be good enough. So I'm very interested in that because I myself have experienced that before. I've moved different places, I've changed people, whatever, but my belief has always been the same. And it wasn't until I changed my or shifted my subconscious mind and my beliefs in certain spaces where I actually started to see an external change
Yeah.
that was more final and like long lasting.
Oh,
So that's what I do. Yeah.
okay.
That's very cool.
So from gathering from all you said, you basically help someone arrive at that moment of consciousness where they realize their let me not say potential, where they realize who they really are, like and they are in tune with their mind and body at the same time. Am I right by putting it like that, or is that an
Yeah.
simplification?
No, I mean, yeah, it's just like, being aware of where are you right now, what is getting in the way of who you want to be and what you want to do, and really like working on sort of like unpacking the things that are stopping you. So if there's like, I don't, I want to start my business, but I am afraid, right? Where does that fear come from? How do you define fear? And for me personally, I'm also very interested in what I like to say now more boldly is like to decolonize our minds. And that is because so much of the words like such as success, fear, the lifestyle that we choose come from that social media, whether that's like the books that we've read for so many years, the personal development world, which is more or less predominantly white. We need to be aware of how all of this has impacted us and how we can decolonize the mind and redefine and relearn who we are at a core level so that when we do those or when we decide to make a change, it's more authentic.
Yeah, I
Um,
fully get where you're coming from. I think that we fundamentally I mean, especially
did we lose Given again?
oh
Did we
yeah,
lose Given? Yeah. Okay. He'll be
given
back.
given gave out.
Giving. He's not giving in.
He
But yeah,
gave up.
he gave up. But yeah, that's actually interesting. So you mentioned that you help people realize, get their business started, for example, as a life coach. Do you also do couples therapy or helping people find, like, their ideal partners or something like that? Like, or like, um, basically, what I'm trying to ask is, like, how you, what is the difference between a life coach and a relationship coach, for example?
A life coach, or for me, like mindset coaching, is more specific on that person and who they are, what's getting in their way, and where they want to go. And it's very personalized to that person that comes to me. So I'm very interested in working with specifically women who are changing their careers, going from like maybe 9 to 5 to starting their own business or following their passion, or maybe stepping into a more leadership role at work, or if they're entrepreneurs and they just want to be really tapped into that business woman mentality, being more savvy, being more confident in what they do.
Mm.
A relationship coach is then purely focused on dating, how to date, who to date, what they want to do.
Oh,
It's
okay.
stuff like I can get into because like I feel during the conversation, like even in dating, right, you need
Yeah.
to work on your mindset, you need to work on the belief in how you see yourself, because that will impact and affect the people that you attract, and also how you handle rejection or walking away or not feeling good enough, or not knowing what you want and who you want. um, but I just don't go there specifically.
And even in a relationship, you are the only person who you can affect. So if your relationship is not working out that well, you can't just expect the other person to fix everything. Like you're part of the unit, so
Mm.
Yeah.
you need to work on your own mindset as well.
I do find that very, very interesting, actually, because that is something I actually learned this from a therapist. Funny enough, but it was because I kept hanging on and kept recalling past relationships that I kind of failed at, and I felt, oh, I could have done better here, or could have done better here. So she was like, that said, what you're looking to change cannot be changed on the other person, because you're not God, basically.
You're not?
You, oh wow! It was newsflash
What?
to me. It was absolutely newsflash to me. I actually thought I was the second coming of Christ, but but nah, but like she was right, because I was like, but she didn't mean it, because you would think, oh, why would you say that you can't change this and that? Because I was thinking of things like, oh, I could have done this differently, I could have done that differently, and then, but what she was trying to say was, oh, that point in time was different. This point in time is different. You cannot change either one. You can only change now and try and, like, that was basically what she said. So it's interesting how you guys, overlap. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna.
I also would say, sorry, I just want to add.
No,
on
go on,
that,
go on, go
like,
on.
You probably did your best in that moment.
Yeah.
Because we are as aware of ourselves and whatnot in that specific moment. So there's 100% like there's so many things that I can look back on, like when it comes to dating a relationship, and think, oh shit, I should have done this differently, and yada yada with this person. But now I have, like, I call, like, a toolbox of resources, of spaces that I've effed up in, and I'm like, right, I don't want to do that anymore. Where does that come from? Understanding that. And so, well, I'll give you a personal example, but, like, I used to be very reactive versus responding. So when I got triggered, you would know I'm triggered. I would, like, I would say, and I can be very blunt, without thinking about how the other person might take it. Whereas lately it's just been like just being more responsible, taking a step back, releasing this feeling of needing to control the situation or the narrative or whatnot, and just being honest, but saying it from my heart, being vulnerable, and just stating how I feel. And I think that is something I have learned. I told my friend the other day, the majority of dating advice that's out there, I would say, is harmful.
I would agree
Oh
vehemently.
Lord.
Vehemently.
Before we get into that, actually, let's actually start there. What dating advice have you seen out there that you find that has been left field for you?
I mean, for me, it's just like this. Just I'm gonna use Instagram for a moment, or social media, just because, like, I have a hate relationship with it, and I feel like we should stop taking advice from effing social media. But there's all of these narrative of, like, if he does this, then if he likes you or if he loves you, then he's probably doing this or he's
Oh,
probably
it's
doing
way
this.
too simplistic. It's always like leaving out any context. It's like this thing A means this thing B with no further factors, variables, or whatever. Or it's a lot of prescriptive stuff that says if you love someone, you should do that. So if you don't do that, you don't love them.
Yeah.
Like, no, everyone's different. Everyone needs their own approach. Like, there's different love. I don't like the term love languages, but there's truth to it that people just show their love in different ways. I show my love by rambling about stuff that nobody asked me to ramble about. And other people do it by giving gifts. Other people do it by, service or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's different for
Acts of
everyone.
service, yeah. Oh,
So yeah,
That.
I just feel like it just should be taking our own advice and, like, really tapping us. I mean, I'm gonna speak for myself as a heterosexual woman, tapping into how do I feel about this? How does my body feel, right? And not be so much in my mind, and being strong and vulnerable in just articulating how I feel, right? Like, I don't feel heard, or I feel sad, I don't feel wanted, or I feel amazing, I feel cared for when you do XYZ or when this has happened.
understood.
Yeah, then you can communicate that.
So based on that answer, because you did say something that was really interesting, and that was people shouldn't take advice on Instagram or social media as a whole. So I'm going back to when I was 16, when I was like, no, sorry, not even 16. Let me say uni, because this was, I was like, that was when I actually really started looking for advice. I think when I was like 14, 16, I didn't really, no, I just didn't care. Like, when I was younger, I just didn't care much, because, like, I think I was more free, and you know what I mean, I was just, but when I got to uni, it was meeting so many people, and it didn't go well. So I went online and this was 2012, by the way. So 2011, 2012. So it was a different ball game back then. So, like thinking of me back then, who should I have gone to opposed to social media? I mean, uh, bringing me back then into today's day and age, if that makes sense. Am I making sense? Like me, I like 19, but growing up in today's day and age, like where should I have gone outside of social media? Because it was very different back then.
Yeah, 100%. It's a very good question because today it's so easy. Like, it's very convenient to just open Instagram or YouTube and search, how to talk to a woman, how to talk to a guy, how to date. Um, and there's so many people out there giving their own opinions. So I don't have a clear answer for that because part of me, when you were speaking, like respectfully, I would say go to a therapist, right? Because we have shit that we need to figure out. Um, but that's hard, and especially if you don't have, not you precisely, but like anyone, if they don't have a healthy, loving relationship at home, if they don't see a healthy, loving relationship amongst their parents or maybe brother, sister, with someone, you don't know what's right. You don't know what feels right. And if you yourself have been abused, and whether that's emotionally, physically, verbally, then you don't know, right? So the word love to you might mean and look and feel like completely different from myself or someone else.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
and honestly,
100%.
I don't have an answer to that, unfortunately. I think that's very hard, other than being curious to look at different resources. So, yeah, you might look at different YouTubers or Instagram people or whatever, but then like actually speaking to couple. When I was younger, I spoke and I learned or asked my parents a lot. I've asked my dad a lot about his marriage with my mom. Um, I used to also talk to elderly people and be like, haha, what's your secret? How did you, why are you, what makes you stay together for that long? Um, but I've also read books. So I think curiosity always helps with these things.
That's
I
that.
think curiosity is the single most important trait someone can have in life. I'm
Yeah.
convinced because that will mean that you will always be set for learning all the other stuff in life.
Yeah.
So this is the part that this is the part that kind of gets me because I do understand how difficult the question was to actually answer because it was two different time periods. Because have you have you heard of the red pill space?
No.
Yeah.
No, you have. Given, I know you have. I know you have. So I think this is where
Elaborate.
me and Given can maybe share a little bit of commonality. So I'm gonna ask you, Given, have you when did you hear of the red pill space? Like for example.
Well, in its current iteration, as it is now,
One of many.
probably, yeah, it's like an evolving beast. In its iteration now, maybe 2019. It's probably the first time I heard of it, but
Wait, that's when you got into it?
well, that as it is now. So
No, no,
when
no. I'm just talking in general because I personally, from the
oh right,
from
like learning about social dynamics.
yeah, but that's what it grew from.
Okay,
from the
if we're
book.
talking about
What's it
its
called?
inception, I was probably about what? Again, backstory. When I was probably about 13, 13, 14. I watched American Pie. Okay, before that, I had no experience with girls or women or whatever.
It's
My first movie was
not a good
Not the
start
best
if you
starting
don't
point.
have
I will be
experience with
honest.
girls.
I'll be absolutely honest. That's not the best starting point. I'm not gonna lie. Stifler's mom, like,
but that's where it started. That's where it started. That's where it started. After I saw that movie and I saw some side boob, I was like, oh, something's happening. Something's, you know what I mean? I was like, something's tingling. So I was like, okay, what's this feeling?
The
And I
beast
started
is
reading a bit.
stirring.
can we please not talk about the birds and the bees? Let's just go
I'm
straight
gonna
to
talk about
teen.
it.
Let's go straight
I'm
to
gonna talk
teen.
about talking to girls and interacting with girls. So I asked my brother, like, how do you do it? So he gave me a few pointers, this and that, and basically tried to execute on it. Sometimes, obviously, it wasn't the most accurate advice because he was just doing off natural instinct, so he wasn't able to coach me directly. So after that, I realized, okay, I can either get this handled now or wait for later life and probably meet someone through organic methods, but I'm the type of person who wants to understand things and know
Optimal.
things. So I was like,
Yeah, it's the optimal
let me
way.
just sit back and maybe go online and see if there is methods to talking to people and interacting with people in general. And what I found was back in the day was the pickup queen. People who used to go out and by trial and error talk to people using different methods and see which ones worked. And they would literally document from beginning to end how they approached, what they said, what they were wearing, everything. And they would correlate massive amounts of data, thousands and thousands of approaches of how they did this, how this worked, why this might have worked, and they look to psychology to back up why the
Yeah.
things they did probably work. And eventually you had this kind of like almost pseudoscience of how to interact with people that had like a, if you learn the way to interact with people, you might have a better chance of, making better friends, building better relationships. So from then on, I and my friends started going to town and talking to random people, old women, older men, and just initiating conversations and trying to basically become friendly with people. And eventually, after a while, you kind of start to realize that a lot of people are pretty much worried about how they look, how they feel, and not so much on what you're doing as a person. So by the end of the interaction, when you go away, they're gonna forget you in about 2 or 3 days unless you made like a big impact. So it doesn't really matter. So
Yeah.
once we figured that out, we're like, oh, this is
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just interacting with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my first experience.
Yeah. Oh, well, that sounds a lot like my experience, except the realization probably it came to you probably in like a year or two, but mine took 6 or 7. I'm a very slow learner. But the reason why I went there is because I'm not sure how much you guys know about the Crowder situation. For all those watching in the chat, Steven Crowder, right? I'm not gonna say right wing because this person
Yeah,
drilled
I'm
into my
gonna say
head.
right wing. If he doesn't, I'm gonna.
Merel was drilled into my head to say right wing, but he's conservative. This conservative.
Yeah, those two are not mutually exclusive.
Okay, fine.
He's
fine.
not
okay,
left.
They're not mutually exclusive.
He's
fine.
conservative right wing.
Okay, conservative right wing. Anyway, the point is he has been he's in trouble again. He's always in trouble somehow. I think from the Change My Mind series that I've watched, people were just getting at him just for asking him questions like this and that. So he's always in trouble. But this one is big, and we're gonna go straight to the video because that video is what was leaked from his divorce case. Now, before playing the video, it's actually very important to actually know that he did do a reply, which we're not going to cover on here because he's just one guy. I think Merel even said it backstage. He's just one guy. We don't care about him. But what actually happened is very interesting to talk about. So there is a response to it. I'll link it in the description. You can go watch it for full, understanding, for full
For completeness.
yeah, for completeness so that you get all sides. But we're just gonna watch the video where we saw a lot of well, as Merel would say, problematic things. So without
Yeah,
further ado,
I'm gonna disclose full bias. I have already seen the video a couple of times. I've also seen other stuff that he was involved in and such. So if I seem a little bit biased, that's because
we
I
like
am.
bias here. We
No,
like bias here.
no,
We-
but it's an informed bias. I mean, it's not like I just don't like him, so I hate everything he does. No, it's based on what I saw.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
All right.
And for the right wing people, saying that he is right wing doesn't mean that he represents the entire right wing. I hope that there's a lot of different people in that area.
You
Like,
can't
it's
trust
not
the
like all
internet
lefties are the
nowadays.
same.
You can't trust the internet nowadays. Buzzwords.
I'm not gonna say that he's representative for the average right wing person. Don't worry.
All right. So I'm gonna play it now. Here is the video. I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you see it? Oh,
It's
flipping
very
heck.
tiny.
It's very tiny. All right. Let me try and fix that. I think it's on my end. Oh, damn.
Yeah. Also, I only see white. Like, I don't see video
Yeah.
yet.
There we go. Done. Fixed. My bad.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Huh?
Tiny.
Yeah, we can leave the logo for a moment.
What logo? All right, all right.
Our logo.
Fine. Jesus Christ. Oh Lord, I can't do anything right. Jesus. Okay, can you see it now? Queen.
Yes.
Are you happy now? Oh God.
Yes. I am indeed very
worries,
happy.
No worries. All right. I'll play from the start. I didn't know it was gonna be that small. So I know where to put the logo next time.
That's him sitting down.
Yeah, that's him sitting
Yeah,
down
that's
here.
him sitting down, and there should be some subtitles on the video itself,
There's
like
no subtitles.
hard-coded.
So who's standing?
That's his wife.
That's his wife. She's pregnant. She's 8
ex-wife
months
now,
pregnant.
and she was 8 months pregnant with their twins, their first children as well. And also, he is a multi-millionaire. Like, he's rich as shit.
Actually, let's start again because we spoke over that.
Yeah. Also, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, neither am I. Can you, Sally, if you are able to maybe just say what they're saying?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it should be on screen.
Sure.
Yeah, but like it's too small for some of us to like actually see.
Well, then go to the live stream and see it. No.
Sure. This
Too
is
much
my-
work.
This
No,
is-
but I think I think if we could get the sound in, because intonation is obviously very important. Should maybe one of us do a dance while Caleb figures out the technical stuff?
No, don't worry. I fixed it all. I'm just waiting for you guys to give me the green light. Give me the.
Yeah, but I didn't hear it earlier. Can we hear it now?
All right.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary.
No, I'm
you just-
hearing it like through
I drew
your
a boundary of
microphone.
abusive control. You were not taking the car. Because
Barely hear it.
you.
No, this is like not audible at all.
Then I will go pick up the groceries.
Sorry,
All
people.
right. Sorry about this. Lord, I'll try and fix it. Let me come into the chat. I have no idea why that is happening like that. You should be able to hear it, but let me try and fix it. You should be able to hear it now, but
I don't know why I cocked my head. I've got headphones on. I don't need to get closer to
you
the
should be able to
speakers.
hear it. Like it should work for you, but let me.
It's a
try
natural
it this
reaction.
way.
Yeah, I was like,
1 second. So guys talk so while I try and fix this. Okay, I think.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That was
Can you hear it
better.
now?
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill.
it's
I drew a
still
boundary.
like we're hearing it through your microphone,
I
and
drew a
not through the
boundary.
actual.
No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of
Can you hear it
abusive
now?
control.
Yeah, we can
You
hear
were
it,
not
but
taking
through
the
your
car.
microphone and not through the
Because
internal.
if you refuse to do white
I mean, the
things,
screen
then
is
I
better,
will
but
go
maybe
pick
we
up the
start it
groceries.
over and then we'll just focus on the text as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's not
Wood pellets.
interrupt for.
My grill.
It's a 3-minute
not unreasonable.
video, so
But I'll go do it.
So this is.
How about you first?
So start it over, yeah.
yeah, start it over and then not interrupt, because otherwise you really can't hear it.
You'll see the love.
Does this seem frozen to anyone else? Or is it just me?
Yes, it does seem
Yeah.
frozen.
No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're
this
not
is
taking the car.
Sally, it's frozen.
You are not
then I
taking
will ask them to complete it.
Maybe he is frozen.
I still can't watch it the second time. I actually can't watch it the second time.
It's frozen.
Okay, Steven,
hear it.
I can't.
Start it over.
Sally, it's
Do you need some
frozen.
constraints?
Steven,
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me.
Oh
Listen to
my
me.
God.
You wanna walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents.
Dude.
I can't call my
The
friends.
image is frozen.
I can't be home. You're gonna take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
what do you need me to pick up? I'll get it.
Is he
When
alright?
I'm back.
I don't know. It's
No,
fro-
that doesn't
here,
work
it's
either. It'll be
frozen.
back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do
I
you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going
Can,
to back?
can you not hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just.
It's frozen.
The
Yeah.
image is frozen.
It's discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
we are at an impasse.
Good. Because you
hear it?
can't have any discipline and respect. Yeah.
Well, first of
There you
all,
go. You
the
throw your hand.
quality is still very poor, but also the video is frozen.
I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an
What's his name? Steven
I
Crowder?
love you.
Yeah.
Steven.
Would a better option be us to just watch the video?
Watch it. Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need
you see it
some
now?
space. We need
Yeah,
to
it's not frozen anymore, but let's just start over.
Yeah, start it
I
over.
love you very much.
Okay, we're starting this over again.
I don't know.
So is the
I
audio
drew a
fixed
boundary.
though?
Yes.
All right.
I
Cool.
drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of abusive control.
All right. So this is the
You were
second time
not
playing the
taking the
video.
car.
Let's try and see.
Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There's no groceries today. I'd be happy to
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill.
I still can't.
I know it's an unreasonable request,
do it.
but I'll go do it.
Kindly.
How about you first?
Sweetheart, I
Hillary, how do you respect a man? Yes. How does a man respect? How does a man receive love and respect?
respect.
No. How does a man
I'm ready.
No, you're not taking the car.
Stephen,
You're not taking the car.
Stephen,
You are not
then I
taking
will ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Stephen.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Stephen, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Stephen.
Like, I can't
Stephen.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
Stephen,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Stephen,
You're making it work. You do that. The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
we are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline and respect.
Stephen,
Yeah. There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Stephen.
Hillary,
Stephen,
you give up so easily.
I'm-
I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your niece is sick. Your niece
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just talk and baby for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife.
As a wife.
Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to it. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves.
I need to.
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I,
Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just.
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take that in.
Wow. So over to you.
I don't
guys.
understand the context. Like, what's
What is the question you have? Because I dug into this a lot. Like, what are the gaps you're missing? Why is my camera
like
not focused?
everything? What are they arguing about?
Well, the thing is that my camera is not focusing. Why the hell
Can I
is it
just
not
can I
focusing?
say something real quick here?
Yeah,
From what
sure.
I'm taking from it. So what I'm looking at here is they've come, as she said, to an impasse because of the way he is as an individual. As he said himself, he is very disciplined. His life is scheduled to a T, and when he asks his wife to do A, B, C, D, she doesn't do it in a timely fashion, and she does it in her own time, thus affecting him and his schedule. Hence, he's getting pissed off and saying, you need discipline and respect. So if I'm letting you know, babe, do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you need to do it and respect me enough to do it in a timely manner and respect my schedule. But the way he's delivering the message is obviously like an angry tone and an indifference to where he doesn't care about her feelings and the fact that she's pregnant, which is very, very interesting to me.
He's also smoking a cigar in front of her, by the way.
Oh,
He's a
actually,
pregnant
cigar.
woman. Yeah, I
I
saw
was
the
wondering
video.
what he was on.
That's all right.
Yeah, he was smoking a cigar. Is that what you?
That's what I saw.
That's the only context that we do have.
That's what I saw
Yeah.
from that clip.
Like I don't have any more context personally. Like when I watched the stream of him, I'm not gonna factor that in here. He said that there was more. I didn't. I purposely didn't watch um, uh, the more because he said that he was gonna release all of the tapes that they have, etc. Because she says no, he says that that the video that was released was a play so that she can have leverage. That's what he was. Well, that's what he was framing it as. So he's like because they have decided to go this way and gone this way, he's gonna release everything. Then he's just gonna release everything because he wanted to keep all of this in house, sort it out. But now she has decided to put this out. I'm just so in turn, I'm just gonna put out everything. Then that's what he said. I haven't seen anything that he's probably put it out by now, but the fact that it hasn't trended or anyone talked about it, I'm guessing he hasn't done it yet. But based on
Because
what
it
you
doesn't
said,
exist.
based on the reason why I sidestep that is because it's not a matter of it doesn't exist or not. It's a matter of who has hold of the exhibit. So if his wife has hold of the exhibit, he cannot. If that's because they are now going to court to get a divorce. If the wife has hold of the exhibit, he cannot just pick up the defendant's exhibit and put it out. It has to be his own exhibit. So whether he has it or not, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. It's been how long? Like a week or two? No, 2-3 weeks since it's happened. If there's anything, I'll report. But Mayce.
So yeah, what did you take from it?
Yeah, what do you
Mace?
take from it?
Off of just looking and reading what he said and what she was saying.
Honestly, I just was confused because I just feel I didn't get what the argument was about. Some of the stuff that did stand out for me when he was saying like become something or be someone, a worthy
Be
wife.
someone worthy.
And I was just thinking, well, because before we watched the video, one of you guys said, well, he's a millionaire. So I started thinking, is that because he don't see her as someone who also have maybe status, maybe he doesn't value her, or, because she is becoming a mother, that isn't enough for him. That was my question around it. But
Well, I do have some context for that, but I'll let you finish.
It just seemed like, from what I was seeing and hearing, both of them has met a point where things has just like added up, where now they're just like angry at each other and they cannot communicate clearly in a loving way. And it's just saying stuff because of anger and frustration. That's as far like what I've seen or what I felt when I was looking at it.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Well, for me personally, I've already seen the video a couple of times, but also the first time I watched it already, I got a completely different view than what Given explained, even though I didn't really know Crowder before that much either. Something personal, I have been in abusive relationships before, and they were thankfully not physically abusive, but they were emotionally, psychologically, verbally abusive. And that went on for a couple years, and this video is just raising every possible red flag that exists in my head. Just from even with the limited context, like I don't need to know what the issue at hand is to know how they are responding to each other. I mean, I can see how they respond to each other, and he's I mean, let's be honest, he's treating her like a dog. He's talking to her like a dog. And I don't get it when people don't see that, but maybe as a woman I'm more sensitive to it because it's generally something that women experience more in relationship with a man than vice versa. Generally, it happens the other way around too. But I can also see that she has learned a lot of coping strategies to deal with abuse. She even calls it abuse in the video at one point. several points even.
All right.
Um,
All right.
but and what I see is someone who, and that's the context that I was referring to. Like, it's not that he's a millionaire, she's not good enough for him, or whatever. He has, and I know this from other contexts that I've seen, he has a very trad wife, like deeply conservative Christian, I dare say misogynistic view of women. Like, they're supposed to be subservient to their husbands, and do wifely things, as he said, and discipline and respect, and like, it's very, very oppressive. And she's trying to de-escalate, and she's trying to say, all right, I'll ask someone to pick me up because I need to go, like, and trying to compromise by asking him, like, who would you like me to ask? Like, I'll give you something, like, I'll ask someone to come pick me up, but who would you like me to ask? Like, trying to give him something as well, like some control over who she would ask. But also, I have a very, very strong suspicion that he deliberately didn't get a second car, even though he can easily pay for one, because it's something that happens a lot in abusive relationships, is controlling the mobility of your partner. And if you only have one car, especially in America, I live in the Netherlands, like, this is not an issue. We have public transport, it goes everywhere. But especially in America, like, you're just fucked then. And he is saying he's boxed in because if she goes get groceries with the car, that he can't go anywhere. Like, where does he need to go in that time? Like, is he boxed in if his partner is just away getting groceries? And is he gonna let his 8 months pregnant wife get an Uber? That's not responsible either. And if he wants to go anywhere, why doesn't he get an Uber? He has money. He has like 50 million. No, let's not exaggerate. $20 million or something.
Yeah.
All right.
This
No,
is
no,
just
no.
it just reads like textbook abuse to me, and
No,
how people cannot see that worries me.
No, I completely get it. And I do have a question to ask you, though, Merel. Who is the other
Yeah,
guy?
sure.
Who is the other guy?
What other guy?
Did you not hear him say, "Why don't you ask the other man and your mother?" You know,
No, not
about
your
this.
mother, the mother.
The
I
mother.
think
Sorry.
I think that it was a typo in not the other man, but the other
No,
men.
he actually
Like,
said. He actually said. I actually heard
yeah,
him
he
say.
said the other men, but the caption said man with an A instead of men with an E. And I think he was talking about, like, how are women supposed to act to their men, to their wives? Like, how do you see other men behave? How do you see other women behave?
Let's put it
I
back
think
up.
that was what that was in reference to.
Let's put it back up.
Well, I think fundamentally they have a different goals and wants
Yeah.
for how they see their lives, and I feel
Yeah, he
like,
wants to control her, and she wants to get some space.
yep, he is one of the type of person who is like a regimented individual, disciplinarian. Even in the way he's speaking, he's like disciplining her to say that, hey, you need to be on job as a wife. I need you to commit your wifely duties, and obviously
No,
she
no, no,
wants
no,
to
no.
have the freedom to do as she pleases. Fair enough, do what you want to do, but I guess fundamentally he needs someone who wants to be with him and follow his lead, and she can just lay back and do what he tells her to do. That's what he wants, and she is not that individual, and that way that relationship's not going to work because they're two different people. They want two different things. The person he's looking for is not her because she's resisting it, and the fact that she's not obviously doing the things that he wants her to do is clear indication that they're not meant for each other. It's not
Okay.
The
working.
person he's looking for is a subservient dog, not a woman, not a
Okay.
person.
I've got the video up, so we will literally go back to it again and
Bad take.
just. Huh?
Huh?
Oh, I sorry. I thought you said something, but no, I was gonna
No,
say.
no, I said that's a mad take.
Mad what? Mad
It's a
take.
true take.
Huh?
Anyway,
It's a true take.
I will get back to that take and we'll address it quickly. But here, wait. Let me unmute and play.
How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect a man? Yes. How do you, man? I'm a man. You receive love and respect. No. How do the man?
Oh, the other man you see, the mom comes back. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay. Also, Merel had cause. But yeah. So okay. So he did say the other man you see. Okay, fair enough. So well, now that it's been disproven, I can strike that from my processing. No,
Not the lawyer.
but like, let's look at the fact here for a quick sec. It's been 10. They've been together for 10 years. They have had children together. So this is not for me looking at this. This is not a situation in which these are two people that just met, and they're now starting a relationship for probably running for a year, and they're now like, oh shoot, I did not know he was like this. I am a free spirit. He's a disciplinarian. We rushed into this marriage for 6. No, this is 10 years. So she must have, unless this is a radical shift on Crowder's side, she must have known who he was. Now, the reason why I say radical shift is because this is not Candace Owens, for example, who just magically switched up her game in 2016, and you know she's now the way she is. Crowder has always been like, I mean, well, in terms of I'm guessing it from his political views, he's always been the same person. So I could imagine that it will spill over into his personal life, that he wouldn't be a different person, because I don't see watching that clip, I don't see how his stage presence is different from that persona that I just saw, because that doesn't surprise the way he is doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is the fact that she is 8 months pregnant and he's like that, because he's supposed to be a Christian, right? He's supposed to be a Christian.
Yes.
So
that is the issue.
That's what blows my mind, because you're supposed to show, as a Christian, if you're devout, because to be honest, I think a lot of people nowadays are lip service, but I'm not going to go into that. That's not the entire show. But if you are devout, you're supposed to show double grace. Definitely quadruple grace when they're pregnant. So it's, to me, when I saw that, that's the only part that you know kind of sent me off. And I'm like, I'm 31. I don't know how old he is. He's probably like 40 something. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, you are a grown.
He is 35.
He's 35. He's 4 years older than me. This is insane. Why am I'm broke? Fuck's sake. Back to the point.
That's just because you're not a sellout.
I don't want. What am I saying? Oh, wow. Sellout.
Oh my god.
No, I said you're not a sellout.
I know, but like, I don't think he's a sellout. Is he a sellout?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a sellout. But the point I'm making is, for someone, when I hear him arguing over the car, he can afford to buy a car. That's 100%. But I don't like to go into that realm, because end of the day, rich people, I don't know their expenses, but I don't know what they're spending it on, etc. So I'm not gonna go into that realm. But the Uber, just the like, let's just be real for a minute. There were two things mentioned: the Uber and the car. What, as Merel put, it was well put. Why don't you go into the Uber and just give your wife the car? That doesn't make any sense to me. If the car was such a big deal and you can't get another one for whatever reason, like, you know, because we see a swimming pool in the backyard, he could be paying for another house somewhere. Who knows? He could be paying for his debt. Who knows?
Yeah, there's no way he does not have space for another car in his budget. Like, even if you get like a rundown Carol.
No, I know.
Merel,
I clearly understand what happened in that situation.
My point is, and this is the way I live. Unless I see your financials right in front of me and I can read your income and expenses, I'm not going to speculate just based on I can see a swimming pool. Because end of the day, if you come into my house, if you see my TV, is the latest TV. If you see my PC, is the latest PC. But I can tell you, my bank account does not reflect this. It's just that. It's just. That's just the way I see it. That's just the way I see it. Like I have. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is
$2 million a year.
That's fine. That's value, though. That's based on that's based on valuation. Believe me, I've done business. I've been through accounting, financial accounting, so many things. What your business is valued at, your income could be, let's say 200, your business is valued at 2 mil.
I'm not saying what his business is valued at. I'm saying that he earns, like, he makes $2 billion a year. That's his income.
What's his net though?
His net worth is about 20 mil.
That's not this is you see the disconnect. Because net worth is not net profit. Net worth is nowhere near net profit.
No, but that's why I say he makes 2 million a year.
Yeah, that's
That's
make
not
though.
his net worth.
No, no.
Can I just
Yeah.
like
Go on,
intervene a little
Mayce.
bit?
Go on.
I feel like this is my opinion right now. I
Go
just
on,
feel
go
like
on.
we're focused too much
On
on
the finances.
the
Yeah.
couple. And I'm just like, personally, I don't care how much he earns. I don't care what or, whatever. I would love to bring this to how it's relevant today, like when it comes to communication, relationships, and maybe how we do things. Like you were talking about abuse, maybe like, do you know what I mean? I would love to make it relevant to today instead of focusing on what he did, how he, how much he earns, the car, the Uber. I don't care. I don't even know these people.
No,
I was
So for
actually
me, like talking about these things
absolutely.
just doesn't.
no. I was about to jump in here. 2 seconds,
Go
yeah.
on.
In case what you're talking about, why the Uber and car situation happened, just in terms of people who are kind of like Crowder, people who are like him, they tend to obviously want to be in control of situations. So for him, the fact that his wife was not performing wifely duties, in his words or whatever, to him, he took that as disrespect. And now she's demanding him, or that's how he probably interprets it. She's demanding him to do something for her, which she has not earned in his mind. So he wants to exert more control because he's lost control in another situation. So he's trying to, like, post-actively say, look, you didn't do what I wanted, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm not going to do what you wanted. You have to do what I want now, type of situation. So
Is that why he said put on the gloves on? And
that's what I'm
the
saying.
gloves is because the dog needed medication, and the medication is potentially harmful for pregnant people. And he's just like, well, that's your wifely duties. Just do it. You're 8 months pregnant. Go give the dog medication that's potentially dangerous for a pregnant woman, and go walk the dogs like 8 months pregnant. Like, I don't see why you're making excuses here.
No, there is.
It feels to me like you're making excuses, like he's just a disciplinarian and she's just not doing what he
that's
wants
not
I don't
to
think
do.
those are excuses. I think that's just context.
People
Or
like
he,
Crowder.
his finances. Like, it feels like you're just making excuses for him. What about her?
Okay, but
what about her?
Okay, all right. I think all that's happening here is just people just trying to bring context to the situation in a contextless environment. Because end of the day, we actually appreciate the position that she's in. I think we have already. I mean, maybe I moved too fast, but I kind of said it that he failed heavily in his duties as a husband to not see the situation for what it is, which is this is your for whatever problem that you have. Surely it can wait until she delivers a child and goes through postpartum depression, whatever it is. And we're trying, we're trying to find some context, but to answer or to at least bring your bring your concerns to light here. Looking at that situation, for one, we're kind of helpless because I don't think we can even help her in any way because one, the situation is done, and two, she's trying to get out of it. But
that's completely irrelevant.
I'm trying to get there. The point I'm making was when we look at this situation, at least in my opinion, I'm seeing gender roles play out, right? And I'm seeing two people that hold different interpretation of whatever roles that they have to play within the relationship.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, there are implicit expectations that we have of one another. Now, in terms of her, for example, I'm looking at that clip and I'm looking at what Crowder is saying, and I'm like, I have heard these talking points. I've heard people say things like this, and what honestly struck me was mainly here was like this. What I'm seeing is basically the talking points of the red pill space being echoed, but it's happening in such a toxic environment that the people that are seeing it are not seeing it for what it is, which is it should not, the communication should not be this broken down for what the red pill is trying to preach on and what is trying to get men to behave like. It shouldn't be in this kind of scenario. That's basically my take on it. So in terms of her, I'm gonna ask Mayce that one, because looking at that, if Crowder's wife was to come to you for life coaching and advice, how would you advise someone like that?
Good question. My first thought was I don't advise, but to figure out what she wants, where she wants to be emotionally, mentally, physically, and what's missing. Watching that clip, I saw a woman who was afraid. I could even feel her, because she was like, you know, I love you.
She kept her hand up. She was trying to pacify him.
Right? Because it's not only protecting herself, but she also is carrying a child. So
two, even.
I saw a woman, oh yeah, twins, right? Yeah. So I saw someone who was afraid, and while he was raising his voice, she lowered hers. Right? Just to be like, okay, I don't want him to do anything. And that had me thinking, has he been abusive before and whatnot? So I think in this situation, if I'm going to not only think about her, but other women, or even myself when I've been in a situation not like this, not at all, but like where there has been someone who has raised their voice or been mentally, emotionally abusive, my question for myself is like, what's keeping me? Like, what is it? Why am I here? Why am I tolerating to be disrespected? Why am I staying in a space that isn't caring for me, nurturing me? And, you know, we were talking about Christianity and stuff, and it's just like, well, would my one only Father, Heavenly Father, be accepting this or be treating me like this? And the answer is no. So there's just like so much to unpack. Once again, I don't have like one answer, but
yes, but at the same time, the issue is also that divorce in Christianity not always is easy. So there's a lot of Christian households that are very abusive, where people should just divorce, but they can't because they're prescribed not to. I know that that's not true for every Christian, of course, but they come from a very, very conservative kind of Christianity.
You can divorce.
He uploaded a video after or around the time that this video was leaked as well, where he tried to preempt the situation, and he was basically just whining that his wife left him, and that unfortunately, and I'm not kidding, unfortunately, no fault divorce is legal, like in Texas. Like he was like, unfortunately, it's legal to divorce if only one person wants it. He was whining about not being able to force her to stay in an abusive situation.
But those grounds for divorce. So like, and even in Christianity, you can divorce.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you can't.
Yeah, but he was deploring it. Like he was deploring the fact that she could divorce him.
There you go.
That is controlling. That's coercive.
That's him coping. That's him trying to cope. Like he's
no, that's him being controlling and abusive. Coping is too dismissive.
Call it what you will.
Well, he's dismissively, abusively coping, coercively coping.
Yes.
Coercoping.
Put it this way.
No.
Put it this way. The guy is angry that the states do not uphold the divorce laws as strictly as it did back in those times. That's why he's angry. But that doesn't.
Yeah, and it's a shit reason to be angry.
Yeah, but that doesn't reflect on other Christians.
True.
It doesn't. There's plenty of Christians that don't think about it like that. I know.
What I'm trying to say is, when okay. So unpacking this, and I appreciate you for trying to answer the question, Mayce, because that was extremely loaded. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I actually, when I asked it, I was like, shoot, why did you ask it like that? But
no, but she was right in what she said. That you have to ask her the questions.
But just there's something I can't get over it in my head, because because the one thing that keeps, yes, I actually do think that they have been here before. I
Oh,
do
yeah.
think I don't I like
Multiple times.
I
Oh, I'm sure of it.
yeah,
This is
they've
not the
been
first time
this
this
is
Multiple
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
times.
it's a build up, but I do disagree with people hypothesizing that this is a situation that has led to violence. I don't think he has
Yeah, I
I,
don't
physically
think
I,
so.
abused
I,
her. I
I'm
don't
pretty.
believe
I'm
that.
not I'm not sure because I cannot be sure, of course. But it really wouldn't surprise me if there had been physical abuse in the sense of maybe just slapping her or something. Because there are some moments where he comes close to her and she like instinctively like backs up, or like she's physically trying to distance herself. Like there's one point where they're at the door and he passes her and she like puts her hand up in between, or that he's standing there and she passes him, and like while passing she holds up her hand while passing him like that. There's so many tells of. There's also the moment when he gets up from the couch that she just like instinctively takes a step back. There's so many tells that tell me there's a good chance that there's been some
I
physical
don't
abuse,
know.
even if there's no contact, like maybe like threatening getting up in her face or something. Even if there's no contact, like there's some physical unsafety there. Unsafety? Yeah, that's a word, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's a word.
I don't know.
Unsafe is a word. Unsafety.
I don't know. I don't
See,
know.
Why
I'm West
not?
Delhi.
What are
I'm
you
West. No,
Maybe
missing?
listen.
no, no.
listen.
The reason why I don't know is because I have been in a physical abusive situation, but
Mhm.
maybe is the
But
reason.
not as a woman.
That's what I was about to
That's
say.
true.
Thank you so much. I was about to say. I was literally about to say maybe my experience and the way I have experienced it and perceived it is different. That I'm not having those tells because, but then again, that said, like I literally just watched and I'm not gonna bring the clip here, but I've literally just watched a case where it's in Canada, but this guy was literally asking for permission from his girlfriend. His girlfriend, sorry, ex-wife, sorry. His ex-wife was basically saying that he raped her, physically abused her, all these things. But when the texts came out, this guy was basically asking for permission all through their relationship. He like, and the judge looked at him and was like, "There's no way this guy is physically abusive and just decided to rape you because this guy's asking for permission just to pee in the bathroom, just to go to the bathroom
Right.
and pee." Like, so when I saw things like that, I'm like, I would never get to that level. Like, that's different. But I've been there though, where I have to ask permission for certain things, like to go out jogging, for example, because she actually felt if I went out jogging, I'm going somewhere else. I'm not really jogging, basically. That was
That's
the
So
wild.
this is
dynamic.
where I think it's interesting because again, bringing it back to what makes it relevant today and how through this conversation we might, shed a light on unhealthy relationships, boundaries, and trauma bonding, basically, right? So then, like, okay, what was it? Did you pick up on the signs before you were with this person? How did you feel when she was asking you or telling you, or um, how did you feel when you were asking for permission, right? So I feel I'm personally more interested in diving deeper into that and what we can
Mm.
do as this young generation to break our generational traumas or whatever where we get into unhealthy relationships so that the people who watch the video that we watched hopefully don't get into that, or if they are in a similar situation they can pick up on the red flags, or maybe they can learn a thing or two about themselves and what they like and don't like so they don't end up in an unhealthy situation.
Yeah, I think that's a
Mm.
very important point to be made, and I think I get why some people might be asking, like, but they were married for almost 10 years, like, or yeah, almost 10 years, like, why is she still with him? Like, I brought up the Christian divorce thing earlier, but even getting married, like, there's such a giant role for us as a culture, and I mean everyone in the world because I don't consider myself part of their culture, to I've heard too many stories of, even in comments under the videos of Crowder, I've heard too many stories of women who also ended up in abusive situations and realized once they got free from it that the signs were there all along, but they were like kind of indoctrinated into a culture that a misogynistic culture basically that tells them that women should be subservient to their husbands and women should do what their husbands tell them, and that's being a good wife, and that
See,
following your husband's every command is like wifely duties and stuff. And the
see,
term wifely duties already gives me like
okay, okay, see,
giant red flags, and I
see,
think that is an important part in recognizing how many things we are inadvertently teaching the next generation that might lead them to not see the red flags or not deem themselves worthy enough to find something better than that.
giving
Can
you
I jump
first,
in?
giving
Can I
you
jump in?
first, you first.
I think people need to people again. This is we're making it a bit complicated. The
Yeah.
term wifely duties is not that deep. No, for
It
real, it's not
is.
that deep. No, it's not that deep.
Wait,
For
wait,
real,
hold on.
because
Given.
when you get together with someone, yeah, you both have expectations of each other. And most people, what you should do is communicate those expectations from your husband, and he should communicate his expectations from you as a wife, and then agreeing upon that and moving forward together as a unit. You know those expectations. So when he says you're not meeting your wifely duties or expectations, you understand exactly what he is talking about. And if she says you're not meeting your husbandly duties, you understand precisely what she's talking about.
Yeah,
So people just need to define what those things are for them in their relationships, what they expect from each other, and if those aren't being fulfilled, you can call the other person out. And if they don't want to do it, it's your responsibility, not get mad,
no,
not to get upset, to just leave and find yourself someone who will accept those responsibilities, vice versa.
I have fundamental problems with the premise of that. I do get the use for clear communication and expectations to a certain degree. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What I disagree with is the framing of entitlement, basically. The framing of a duty or responsibility.
We have duty and responsibility.
No.
Merel,
Yes.
Merel. Actually, wait. Given Merel.
If I'm in a relationship with someone,
actually,
it's
wait,
not my. I don't have a duty to the other person.
Merel, wait. This is not a relationship. This is a marriage. Very different.
Which is just a legal type of relationship.
No. Wait. The reason why that distinction is very important because how you see a relationship is not how I see a relationship. Now, if I am in a relationship to get married and to actually see it, there is a spiritual connotation attached to me. We actually have, well, at least the woman that I would pick would be of the same faith, etc. There are expectations on top of our own expectations. We have faith or spiritual expectations. So those parts play in and those compound. Now, the part that I see the disconnect in what you think is that a relationship doesn't have all those extra expectations that a marriage would, for example, that has spiritual connotations. The point I'm making is when you are married, people have in their head they are already thinking, well, I've got to make this work because I've promised to God and I've given my word to God that this is going to work. So they are already going to invest in that, and they're already going to try and work to make sure that works, and they're not going to leave as easily as you might present it. That's one part. The second part is they would have that stronger expectation of, you need to do your role, I need to do my role. If I'm doing my role and you're not doing anything, this is not working, and I don't want this marriage to break because I don't want to let down my creator, because I can't leave if you're not cheating. So therefore, we are in this gridlock, basically. Whereas a relationship, you can just be like, fine, you don't want to do it, fine, I'm gone. You don't have that spiritual connection. It's what I'm trying to say. But Mayce, you
raised your hand earlier.
I will go back to you, Merel, to rebut what I said. But yeah, Mayce, you know.
I also feel like while we're talking about these descriptions, what I also heard was like there's complete difference in point of view and experiences when it comes to culture, Western versus Eastern, and how we do things. Like we were talking about expectations. Yeah. Honestly, even if I'm in a relationship, I will be in a relationship knowing that it's going towards a marriage, And
Same,
even in that
same,
relationship,
absolutely.
we are clarifying, as Given was saying, the expectation that we have for each other.
Absolutely.
But like, you know, and we mentioned earlier, like love languages, what makes me feel loved, heard, and appreciated, and so on, and vice versa. And so going into these roles, I feel like happens somewhat automatically based on my culture, my upbringing, and then also religion. So I think I just want to highlight that because I think I'm seeing disagreements, but I'm also seeing where those disagreements might come from, and also why we get triggered when certain words are mentioned.
Yeah, I can. That's interesting because I can respond to both of you at the same time, with the same thing. I, it's not that I don't understand that. Of course, it's different if you're religious. It's just that I don't think that religion should be an excuse for something to lead to unhappiness.
True.
And I
We're not
feel
saying that
I
though.
no, I know, but I feel like, and I'm not saying this about you, Mace, but I heard it more prominently in what Caleb was saying, and I hear it far more prominently in a lot of other Christians that I've heard, is that there's a lot of stuff that is evidently harmful, but is then justified solely through religion. And if religion is your only reason to justify it, then I think you need to reevaluate.
Give examples.
Yeah, please.
Well, if you're, say you're both in an abusive relationship and you're of the kind of Christianity, I'm not saying you are, but you are of the kind of Christianity that is against divorce. Like that's saying that divorce is, I don't know, a sin or whatever, or will make you go. If there are Christians out there, more fundamental Christians that are absolutely against divorce. If they would also have the feeling like, yeah, I actually do want to leave, but if I do leave, then I'll upset my creator and heavenly father, and it is against God to divorce, and then you'll stay in an abusive relationship
No.
that you wouldn't otherwise have stayed in had it not been for religion.
Okay.
In terms of Christianity, I think the Bible is very clear that if someone has or falsely represented themselves as being someone who they're not, you can absolutely leave if they turn out to be an abusive person in the end, and you see that, oh, this is who you really are. You can absolutely leave if that person's abusive. And again, if someone commits infidelity, you can absolutely leave. If someone is physically abused, you can absolutely leave. In the Bible, it says it's okay.
I believe that, but there are some Christians who interpret their Christianity differently.
But they're not reading the book as it is written. They're just.
That's fine. I believe you. I haven't read the book. I haven't read the Bible. I haven't written it. No, certainly not. I haven't read the book cover to cover, but I know that there are people who use their religion in that way.
No, absolutely. Like those are the abusers that you're talking about. But what I was trying to say was that is not representative of the populace who actually think this is when they're in that moment. And when I was saying that, this was when I was in that moment, because I was married and it was an annulment. It wasn't a divorce. It was an annulment because the state of, I was married in the state of Israel, right? They don't, like, the actual area that I got married in, they don't believe in divorces at all. You can't divorce unless you even when they cheat on you and you suspect they're cheating and you have seen, like, texts to lead up to the matter, unless the person confesses or you catch them in the act, you can't divorce. That's how strict it was, like that. The only saving grace that I had was that within the first month of marriage,
like it happened quickly enough to still get an annulment. Yeah,
that was the only grace. But that was only in a situation of, an adulterous wife. But this is not the case, because I knew in my head, I was getting abused, but in my head I was thinking, no, I committed to this person, I'm going to stick it out.
I just that raises my hackle so much, because I'm like, I'm being abused, but I made a commitment, like I made a promise, like
Merel,
fuck that, go for your own happiness.
Merel, this wasn't the case. Like, let me bring it back. The first thing I did when I realized I was doing this was I got the priest. He was basically our therapist. I brought him in immediately. I was like,
Therapy.
yeah. I was like, yeah, me and you, we're talking to him right now. And even though in my head I was learning the techniques and that, even though in that moment that I did bring him in, and I can see her switch, personas to be like, oh, like, the priests are like, oh, but this is not. I'm like, just like I would speak to the priest afterwards, and then he was like, what's the actual issue? I'm like, let's just keep talking. Let's just keep going for more and more sessions. It will come out. You will see it. You will see it. You will see it. It will come out.
Wait. She can't hide it for that long. Wait. She's gonna break. Just wait.
Anyway, but the point is, she let it slip in one session that she actually was seeing somebody. And the priest just wrote up an annulment. Like at that point, I was like, here, have my phones, check it. I'm not guilty of anything like this. I proposed that she has the phone. She puts her phone down too. She was hesitant. I was like, no, what's the issue? Put it down.
If you've got nothing to hide.
Basically, put it down. And we saw the communication, and then she basically came clean saying that it was the weed dealer, blah blah, that that she was fucking, and like it was the most embarrassing moment of my life. But even when I got out, but
the plug, go ahead, plug. Lord.
But the point is, I was saying all of that to speak to Merel's credit, because she is not wrong by being outraged that even though we saw even though we didn't see physical abuse, we did see psychological, and we did see emotional, and we did see verbal. They were all present. However, a lot of people, from what I saw, they were like I keep bringing back up the red pill space, because what he was saying is basically
We're back to Crowder now.
Yeah. Sorry, my transition skills is kind of A1. But the point. But what I was saying was there was this video clip that was going around. I'm not sure. Have you guys heard of the whatever podcast?
Only by name. Yeah. Never listened.
Never seen a clip. Good. I'm glad you haven't seen a clip, because there was this clip that was going around where they asked this specific question: if you are being physically abusive, if you are going through an abusive relationship and it was physically abusive, right? Is that grounds for divorce? Like, can she leave? They're like, no, you gotta endure. That's what the guy was saying, endure, right? So the girl,
and I hate that. Nobody should have to endure abuse. Nobody, for everyone who's watching, if you're being abused, you deserve better.
No.
Hear it out. Hear it out.
Nobody should be told to endure abuse. Get the fuck out of there. Can I say fuck? I'm too. Oh, now I said it twice.
No, 100%. Like, I am not going to disagree with you. And I'll get back to that. But within that same clip, the guy was trying to explain, in cases of adultery, even Jesus says that you can leave. And I just look at it, I'm like, please don't weaponize my religion like this, because you can leave in that situation. You can leave in that situation. And I'm seeing this perpetuated, which is why when Merel brought back the Crowder clip and, saying like that my mind went straight there, because they were saying things like this. And then the girl that was there asked beautiful question. It wasn't even loaded. It was actually unpacked beautifully. She basically asked, okay, so if she cheats, so basically, if she cheats, would you stick around and endure? I was like, when everyone turns, let's say we're all looking here, it'd be like,
yeah.
When everyone turns. So that was me. I was like, okay, your turn. And this guy's like, nah, you gotta leave. I'm like, fuck off, man. Stand by your argument, for Christ's sake. Don't just switch now.
So if she gets abused, she stays. If they get cheated on, they leave.
Yeah.
Well, there are loads of cultures where that is actually there's a lot of deeply misogynistic stuff in a lot of cultures where if the woman is suffering any kind of abuse or her husband is cheating on her, then she's just fucked. And if she cheats on him, then he can get a divorce. Where's the equality here?
I completely get that. Like, and
Not
that
saying
was,
that I'm not saying that you guys are
No,
that
no.
are no,
No.
definitely
No,
I-
but
not.
we do come from certain cultures. So
yeah,
what cultures are
we
you
know what
speaking
you're
about?
talking about. Like it's. This is where I'm kind of appreciative of the West and I'm kind of appreciative of the background that I grew up, because I grew up not seeing any of this. I never saw abuse like growing up, and I never, been through that kind of dynamic where my dad was cheating, like growing up, all those things. I never been through that. So, but I grew up from a culture that's kind of, I wouldn't even say is normalized, because that'll be very harsh, but it wouldn't be frowned upon if it happened. Does that make
what
sense?
happened?
Like,
If what happened?
like, let's say you pop your wife in Nigeria. I don't.
Or if you slap your wife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In Nigeria, I don't think in my head, like, I've never seen it happen, so I can't opine on it. But and I've never really been exposed to this stuff until I came over here. But if it was to happen here, and this is just to speak to the cultural argument, because the guy that was on the panel, I think he was from, I think he was from that whatever pod panel. I think he was Indian or Arab descent. I don't know, but
Somewhere in Asia.
Yeah, somewhere there. I don't know, but there were so many things that came out about him actually
Like
physically abusing.
point to it. Where was it? Was it there?
Point to where he touched you. Anyway, no. But like, what was I saying? So, damn, I just lost my point. Back on the point. So, in terms of the cultural aspect, I can understand how difficult it is, and unfortunately, I don't have anything to say, because I don't have anything to say outside of, I think though, outside of me saying, when we are in the West and the messaging that's going out there in terms of abusive relationships, I think we are in a unique position, being from those backgrounds. I'm talking me, Given, and Mayce, being from those kind of backgrounds. We are in a unique position to see the other side of the argument, bring it into our lives, and potentially turn around and teach our next generations what we have learned, knowing both sides, and in a more balanced perspective, so that if they decide to go back to that kind of culture, they will be smarter in enacting change in those cultures. Do you see where I'm coming from? Or like,
but also let's not normalize, or let's not I just feel triggered right now and annoyed, because I feel like we're talking about our cultures as if it is normal to do certain things, and that's not.
I don't know where you're from, by the way.
Middle East, as if the West is somewhat better in how they do things than the East.
Yeah, no.
And I don't like how.
No, I don't want to make any kind of blanket statements like that.
Well,
that
you have somewhat though. There has been, and then like what's been said right
I'm sorry.
now. And because this is live and it's going to be online, I do not agree in that.
Okay.
I do not come from a
that's
household.
Can I caveat
it?
it? Can I clarify it?
No.
No, give it 2 seconds.
Okay, sorry.
Go on.
Actually, go on.
So,
I have said.
Let me jump in real quick. What I was gonna say is there's this hubris in the West of where it's like there's an air of we know better. We know what is best for the world. We know what is the most optimal situation for the world. And I think anyone having that hubris to say that we know the best, it's just a bunch of baloney. No one really understands this is the best situation for this, that. No, we don't. We're in a new era where things are changing rapidly. We don't know how this is going to affect the future generations. We don't know how everything's going to change in the next 100 years. We're just kind of, going through this thing kind of blind in this situation. So for anyone to assume that any culture knows best is just fallacy.
No.
You can say
that is ridiculous on any level.
You can just say that there's advantages for certain outcomes in these places, and there's advantages for certain outcomes in these other places.
Yeah, and culture is super fucking broad. There might be some things that we're better at and some things that others are better at. That's how it is.
Let me really clarify. I have to clarify. What I was speaking about is, okay, the education around abuse where we are from, is it well understood or well taught back there?
Well, in my country, let me just say,
Yeah.
in Zambia,
Yeah.
we are taught of the family structure. We clearly outline the family structure. The dad is the head of the household. The mom is the second in command or whatever, and the kids fall last. The man, like, there's rules and structures that everybody follows. Whenever people eat, there's a way in which people eat. There's a structure in which people eat. There's a structure in which everything happens. So whenever people, this is the beautiful thing about culture that is most people don't really appreciate, is whenever you get into a relationship with someone in your culture, you all understand what is expected from yourselves. There is no wishy-washy about, we have to figure things out of who does what, who does this, that, and the other. No, I know what I'm doing. You already know what you're doing, and we just hit the ground running.
I'm not
That's the
disagreeing
beauty
with
of it.
that.
Something
I'm
to be
not.
said for that.
I'm not disagreeing with that. My question was actually
In abuse.
abuse.
What they teach us is, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're okay. In terms of us kids, we get beat if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And the beating is not from a place of hate, it's from a place of, if I don't discipline you in the household,
Okay.
if I don't discipline you in the household, the world will have much worse consequences for you if they catch you lacking on those streets.
Okay.
So for you to be in my household, I have to discipline you. I don't want to, but if you misbehave, I have to.
Okay.
To teach you a
And
lesson.
that cannot be solved in any other way than physical
Well, it's
violence.
the quickest. It's the quickest.
Now I
most
see
efficient
why
way.
Mace. Now I see why Mace was triggered. Now I get it. Based on the
Well,
way that
go
you broke it.
go ahead, Mace.
Go. Sorry.
No,
go on.
she's raising her hand.
I'm actually saying I actually gotta leave.
Ah.
It's
no.
9:30 here.
Before you leave, can I just say one thing to you?
Yes.
That I just want to very explicitly apologize for triggering you earlier. It was not my intention. If you feel like, because I was not speaking to I didn't have a specific culture in mind. So obviously, if I said something that doesn't apply to the culture you're from, then I wasn't talking about your culture. Then I was talking about the cultures that does apply to. I didn't name any. I didn't name any names. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't even know where you're from.
Personal,
so
it wasn't personal towards you. I think it was just like in general, and that comes from I was triggered because lately I have been reading a lot on, West versus East and how we view things and so on. And my head has been very in that space, and so I easily pick up on when things are said, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to believe in that. I don't want that. That's not
and
my
it's
truth.
it's
So
it's
that was only
absolutely
it.
it's absolutely good of you to mention that, but just also for people who are watching, because I know that in my head it's clear, but I wasn't, because when I'm not mentioning specific people or specific cultures or countries or whatever, then the culture I'm talking about is the culture to which those features that I'm mentioning apply. Like if I'm talking about the kinds of Christians for whom divorce is not an option, then I'm not talking about all the Christians for whom divorce is an option. That's then
Right.
obviously not the people
Yeah.
I'm talking about. So if that's not the case for any one of you, then obviously I'm not talking about your culture.
Yeah.
So I explicitly don't want to name any names because I don't know which cultures that is. I don't care. I only care about if what they're doing is harmful or not. I don't care about pinning names on them and blaming like this culture's bad, that culture's bad. Like I don't want to play that game. I want to look at behaviors and results and how people treat each other, not like sorting them into good and bad boxes. That is a completely futile and very disrespectful exercise.
I appreciate your apology and explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, I
And
meant
thank you guys
I meant
for
no disrespect. I'm
having
sorry.
me.
Mace,
Yeah, I loved having you on. Like, feel
Lioness
free to
energy.
join again if you want.
clean energy. We'll catch you in a bit. Have a good one. Have a
Yeah.
great
Have a
night.
good one.
And we'll see you in a bit. Yeah?
Bye.
See ya.
Okay, so did not expect that to happen. I did not expect her to feel the way she did, but I do have to ask. But I don't know. Is there a point? I get why she was triggered now, because the way that Given broke it down, it seems to me the interpretation based on the context of the culture
Yes.
that you are from is going to be wildly different from the West. And if you try to say let's take this side or take this side, it would seem as if you're putting one culture above the rest,
Exactly.
which I wasn't doing. I was just saying
No, I
that.
think that that is more a projection of perhaps someone's own slightly unnuanced view, because I don't deal in that kind of lack of nuance at all. I
Yeah, I
get
think
why
I
people might get that feeling from what I'm saying, but in my mind, it's so clear that I'm
You didn't even say
not.
it though. The thing is,
No,
you
but
didn't
this is
even
the
say it.
thing.
I said it. I
But this is
said
the
it.
thing. Yeah, most people will infer that someone is saying, if they're saying that, oh, we do things here like this, and they do things like that over like this over there. That's
Yeah.
not right. Then it might seem to other people that you're stating that what we do here is better than what you guys do there. And there's an air of superiority that comes off that, and people will feel that. I'm like, come on now.
But why
Like,
would
come
I
Yeah,
on.
go
I
against my
use
own culture
try
though?
whenever I'm discussing
No,
aspects
not
of
you,
someone's
Sally.
culture, whenever I'm discussing aspects of someone's culture like that, I am only looking at that aspect, because if there is an aspect of someone's culture that I think is harmful, I'm not just thinking it because my culture is better or whatever. Like
No, no facts.
I,
No,
I
like
have
I
a
understand. Yeah.
reason that I can substantiate that I think uh,
Yes.
would not only be true in my culture, like
Yeah.
it would also have at least partial truth for other people. Like if I punch you, that's gonna hurt no matter what culture you're in. Like pain is pain, you
Yeah.
know? Pain is pain. That's just
Yeah.
it is what it is. And obviously culture plays a role in how we interpret certain things, and um like obviously someone from one culture will feel it like a different show of love if they sacrifice something for you than in another culture.
Mm.
Like that just differs. Like for me, making sacrifice, if people make sacrifices for me, and I don't mean like just giving things up that I want to give up, but like a sacrifice in the sense that it harms them in some way,
Mhm.
like they're inflicting some suffering on themselves for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
I feel awful. I don't feel that as love, because I want the other person to be happy. So why would I want them to make themselves less happy for my benefit when their
Ah,
unhappiness makes me less happy?
yeah. I think
But that's going to be different for someone from a different kind of
yeah.
culture.
I think the West really prioritizes self happiness and the
Yeah.
individual's happiness, whereas in other
No, I
cultures,
actually think I'm a rarity in that. I think that the majority of my culture in that sense, like in the Netherlands,
Mhm.
which is in a lot of sense a very progressive culture, I think that
Mhm.
sacrifice like that is still very much the norm. I'm like the
Mhm.
weird one out that is like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want you to give stuff up, and you shouldn't expect me to give stuff up because
Oh
we
no,
both have a
100%.
right to
Yeah.
happiness.
Yeah, 100%. But I think people
I'm
like,
the weird one out. Whenever I tell people that in my area, people are just
yeah.
like, Jesus, that's psychotic. And I'm like, no, that's just because I want everyone to be happy and not sacrifice themselves for someone else.
Yeah. No. That makes perfect sense. But
So
yeah, go on.
yeah, because I have noticed a shift in today's culture within the West. I have noticed a massive shift, and that is the fact that a lot of what we're talked about today, a lot of the Eastern values seems to be being preached a lot. In terms of, well, I wouldn't, let me not call it Eastern values. Let me call it the Christian values that was upheld, before a lot of this, before the new age, and that seems to be coming back. Like for example, I'm pretty sure of some people that have
I need to
that
turn on some lights, by the way,
yeah.
but I'll
No,
still
no
be here.
worries. I'm sure you have heard of some people that have said things like, "Oh, the wife has to submit to their husband, etc."
Yes.
Yes.
I like these things are almost cyclical at this point, where cultures move into these more like senses of freedom, and then once that freedom has been extrapolated to such a high extent that it causes damage to society, then they say, no, we need to put the reins back on
Yeah,
and
yeah.
bring rules and societal norms that are beneficial to the society as a whole. So I feel like moving into technological age or whatever, it's going to be interesting to see how we progress as a society, especially in the more technologically advanced areas in the world, how they progress as societies, because it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, because I see it when I see things like this, right? This kind of, because I'm seeing some kind of evolution play out, and the evolution that's being playing out right now is it seems more like it's uh, it seems more like people want healthy relationships, and all
Yeah.
of this red pill stuff that's going on. It seems like people want that one goal, which is to have a healthy relationship, raise a family, etc.
Mhm.
But the method in which they're getting it is reactionary to something that has happened um, in recent years, which is hyperfeminism. From
But
what?
but this is why it's important to find, if you are the type of person who wants the traditional relationship, there are plenty of women who want a traditional relationship as well, who want to just be at home and have
Yeah.
kids, and the husband takes charge, and they kind of just say, "Look, I'm on your ship. Take control of
Yeah.
the ship, and I will
I'm
just
not
follow you."
entirely convinced that there's a lot of them, actually. I'm convinced that
There's enough for these red pill
they,
guys.
they are out there, but I think that there are fewer out there than a lot of people would like to think, because women, and I can speak from my own experience, of course, even with my very blurry cam that seems to constantly forget where I am. Hello, camera. No? Okay. Well,
Okay, hold on,
screw
2
you
seconds.
too then.
I just need to
Um,
use the toilet quickly, but I'm
Go on,
still
go on, go
listening.
on, go on.
all right. But please mute yourself. But I know that there's a lot of narrativization going on where we're basically taught that that's what we should want, and that if people think about it like the way I do, that is selfish or narcissistic or whatever. Like I often feel kind of uncomfortable um, sharing my views on relationships in that sense, precisely because I do frequently get some backlash for it,
Yeah.
even though I have enough data that a lot of people who think that this is what they want turn out eventually to not have wanted that all along, but to have thought that that was what they wanted. And it never happens the other way around. I never see it happen the other way around.
I mean, well, how do I put it? Um, put it this way. I mean, before, there's there's a chat here. Says here, hey,
Maybe move the
Miss
other way
Start,
around.
Mrs. Start, catching up now. Hey, Jennifer, welcome to the
And
chat.
Charlie.
But yeah, so welcome to the show, I should say. So to recap,
What do you mean the other side? Okay.
no. So to basically try and unpack what you just said. I don't think, I think there is a lot of, when it comes to the reporting of these things, there's a lot of exaggerations, right? And when I say that there is a lot of exaggerations, it seems to me that people, it seems like for example, when I hear of people like Just Pearly Things, for example, or Fresh and Fit, I think there is this
No idea who either of those are, by the way.
they are in the
You would hate them.
rescue. I honestly, I actually don't. I'm actually very indifferent to them. I actually
Yeah.
like I watch, when I watch it, I don't fault their premise. For example, I don't fault where they're coming from, because it's not lots of I'll go back to my point. It says lots of men and women want traditional marriages. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Some do, and I speak like that because I actually don't know that many people for me to say this and that. But I do think that, but the people that follow me on Twitter, they actually do echo that sentiment, that they actually do want a bit of structure in their relationships.
Yeah.
That's not to say that, and I have also had people that are that say they have structure, but one person doesn't, pull their weight. The point I'm trying to make is, when these people speak, like for example, they will have someone on their show that they call like a 304 whatever, like, like they have OnlyFans or whatever, and they will say that's all women. That's how women think.
That's wrong.
That's how
Yeah.
this and that. I look at that and I'm like, we know that's not true. Like that's not most women even, like, because otherwise OnlyFans would have crashed by now and gone bankrupt, because then not gone bankrupt, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like it would have crashed, and the numbers that are people making money on OnlyFans is not that great. Do you know what I mean? So using them as
I have no idea how we got there, but yes, sure.
It's a wild tangent, but I'm bringing it back now. But basically, the point I'm making is they use these women to represent a populace when there is a diverse type of women out there. So
you can just say this, the majority of women in the world globally would prefer a more traditional man who is a provider than a 50-50 guy. Period. Point blank, period.
Okay.
Yes, and how much of that is cultural socialization and how much of that is
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying this is what they want.
Okay, so you're not making a prescriptive statement, you're making a descriptive statement.
I'm just saying this is what they want. Yes, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying why they want it, how they want it, how it came to be that they want it, but that's what they want.
Well, descriptively, I have no choice but to agree, because descriptively I think you're right, but prescriptively I'm not sure how many of them authentically, innately want it and would still want it if they were presented with another option, if they had been born in a different situation.
What would you like, Merel, yourself?
What
would you like yourself?
Would you want a man that provides?
What type of relationship would you want? Would you want someone who halves everything with you 50-50, or someone who's generally more of a provider, takes the leadership in general, not on everything, but on the majority of things?
There is nobody that's gonna take leadership over me, and I'm not gonna take leadership over them.
So you want
I don't need everything to be 50-50 either, because it depends on our relative. It depends on our relative means. Like if he earns, or she,
like 50-50,
if they earn twice as much as me, then paying 50-50 would not be fair, because it would weigh on me twice as hard as it would on them.
As an equivalent exchange.
Yes.
Of effort. So if let's say he's
like relative to their needs. Yeah.
Let's say so he's putting more effort. Let's say he's putting a lot of effort in like work and getting money for the household or whatever. You say, okay, I see he's has an ability and an affinity to do this particular thing. So I'm gonna pick up slack here where the slack needs to be picked up. And if you have a particular affinity in a certain area, he'll say, okay, she's killing it over there, and I need to pick up slack in this other area which we're not looking at right now. So that's what
if that's at all within my possibilities, yeah.
So a negotiation, basically. So a negotiation you want, basically.
No, I don't really do negotiation.
That's
in
what
that
you described.
sense. No. I get that it's hard to imagine considering the cultures that you come from. Like this is the cultural difference with me then. But I don't believe in relationships as a trade, as an exchange or whatever. I don't believe in like
negotiation is a very general.
So do you believe in the Destiny-esque relationship where you are just two individual people who come together living in the same household, but you do the things you both want to do
regardless?
It depends on the person you meet. Like the last relationship I had was an open relationship, and I would very much like an open relationship in the future, or maybe even try a polyamory sometime. But if I meet someone who absolutely does not want that, and and it works out in a way that I do not feel the need or desire for it, like maybe I change, maybe I don't want it in the future, I don't know. Then maybe not. I don't know. It depends. I never thought I would get into an open relationship when I got into the last one, so I didn't expect it. Like he floated the idea, and I was like, yeah, you know what? That sounds interesting. Let's try it and keep communicating about it and see if it goes well. So
That was a negotiation.
Yeah, in that sense, sure. But I thought you meant like I thought you
I'm
meant
not gonna let it go.
like
I'm not
in.
gonna let it go. I don't
I
mean
thought you meant like in
transactional.
value exchange,
No,
like
no, no, no. It's not
if you do
transactional.
this
No,
much, then I do the
no,
same
no, no,
amount
no,
or
no. Okay,
something.
okay.
I not in a trade sense, but in a communication sense. Yeah, sure.
You have to
Communication is the
trade,
most
yeah.
important part of any
Yeah,
relationship.
but I use the word negotiation, not trade. Like we know what trade-offs. I get the idea that we have trade-offs and payoffs because obviously if I give you this, this and that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I in a marriage context, even from my background, I actually do understand. Like I watched my parents do this, by the way. Like I've seen them literally negotiate with one another. Where my dad decided to come over here and work for a while my mom was taking care of the family back there. Like she's basically the head of the house in Nigeria, and he's not. But that was like the negotiation to ensure that
The family
that this
progresses.
works. You know, to make this goal possible. And I think what I'm saying is what they are prescribing out there doesn't cover that little experience where you can have a woman lead for a while, or even a man sit back and take a different role from what is expected of them.
See, I think this is where people usually like. I think that's why it's important to find people
Who
that
know
you want to date who understand the type of person you are. If you're the type of person who likes to take charge, you need to find someone who doesn't really care to be at the front and leading, who wants to be
But
more
that's
like.
very
That's where
that's
people
very
have to take.
simplistic though. That is
No,
very simplistic.
but that's what people have to
I
do.
do agree though.
Like, if I want someone who's a stay-at-home wife, I'm not gonna find someone who wants to be a boss babe and try and trick her into being a stay-at-home wife. That's not gonna work. That's gonna be disastrous. She's gonna be fighting me the
No,
whole.
I get that. Yeah.
She's gonna
No,
be
I
fighting me
completely
the
get
whole
that.
I agree.
way. She's gonna
No,
be
I
fighting me the whole
completely
way.
get that.
You have to find someone who authentically, innately
Yes.
is the kind of person that
Who
would fit with
compliments
you.
Yes.
That's why I also hate the concept that we were talking about earlier of like in the very beginning of the conversation, like the only one you can change is yourself. You cannot change the other person. If the other person is not right for you as they are, then well,
You leave.
yeah.
Okay, so
That's it. The end. Doesn't matter how much you love them, because very often people are not in love with that person. They're in love with their idealized future version of that person, but that person
again,
doesn't exist.
They could be in love with that person, but the person is not fulfilling things that they need to be fulfilled, so hence they leave that person.
Yeah, but what I mean is that they want to be with that person, but what they actually want to be with is not that person, but another version of that person that doesn't exist. Like they want to be with the version of that person that does fulfill those needs.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But that version doesn't exist, so you shouldn't then try to make that person into that version. Just
yes.
There's 7 billion fish in the sea, unless you're not pansexual like I am, but then there's 3.5 billion fish in the sea.
Let me just read this child quickly. Let me just read the child quickly because it's kind of funny. It says, all the people that I know who are married, it really is the woman who has the last say, but not in a controlling way, if you know what I mean. Now,
I'm so sorry.
Now,
lost souls.
Now we've only got 9 minutes left.
Man. If it works, it works.
We've only got 9 minutes left because I do want to keep this at 2 hours. But
yeah, same.
And
we're gonna make it.
We gotta make it. So the point I'm making, going back to the whole what we all witnessed, because it did divide opinion, right? We have seen, and I've seen a lot of people not agree on this entire premise. It's either they'll be like, I do the right things, all these things, they don't keep up their end, they do this, they abuse me, etc. Right? And then the other side says, I'm providing, I'm doing all these things, and then she sees the next guy and goes off and leave. There is no, I'm seeing a lot of resistance, basically, right?
I'm seeing a lot of entitlement in that sentence.
Yeah, that's the resistance.
Because just because you do things for someone else does not mean that they owe you anything. And I think that this is something that goes wrong in maybe even the majority of relationships, by which I mean literally like 50% or more, like
I don't
not
disagree.
all of them, because people are like, I hear it too often where a lot of people come to me with relationship troubles and they're like, but I did this and I did that and then they didn't do this, and I'm like, yeah, you can be bummed, you can not like that, but they don't they don't owe you, because love is supposed to be unconditional, isn't it?
Yeah, but
You should give things because you want to give them, not because you want something in return.
yeah,
Love
but
should be unconditional. Oh,
yeah, but
Yeah, it's a hot take, I know.
yeah, but this is exactly what landed Pearl into controversy
but it
because
is not. It is not.
it
I have no
was.
idea who she is, so I
The
don't.
only love that is could be closest to unconditional is like love between like family members. That's probably the closest unconditional love you might even get. Even that's conditional.
Yeah.
If the family member is really
Yeah,
messing up,
like
eh,
a friend of
you're out
mine,
of
like
here.
actually the friend whose house I'm looking after right now, her mother is, she does not understand the concept of unconditional love. Like her love is 100% conditional, and I have a very strong suspicion that she has narcissistic personality disorder, because those people often do
But
not. And you saw the same with Amber Heard, by the way, who's not
most people's
narcissistic,
love is
but
conditional.
Yeah.
Like
no,
the
but
majority,
love itself, it shouldn't be.
but our human nature doesn't it because we want again our human nature resists the fact that it has to be conditional because we have to
Why?
get
Yeah.
because of our human nature
Yeah.
because we have to get
Yeah,
certain
that's circular. Like it's our human nature
yeah,
because it's our
yeah,
human
but yeah,
nature.
no
but
no no no
Meryl,
because we
Meryl,
need certain needs met and if those needs are not met we don't feel fulfilled in whatever endeavor we're doing hence we feel like we're getting ripped off.
yeah, but
You
Meryl,
Oh,
get ripped off.
but
People
that's
are
not what I
highly
meant with unconditional love. Like you should love like the fact whether or not you love someone shouldn't be dependent on what they do for you.
no you can still love someone but if they're not doing something for you you can choose to leave them knowing you love them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's lots of relationships where I'm like, you probably best leave them, even if you love them. Like a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
people
yeah.
who are being abused still love their
If that
partner.
okay, if that's the case we're talking about in terms of just having that affection and love for someone, but willing to let them go and do your own thing and
yeah,
moving on with
Yeah,
your life,
and
then that's
especially if you
perfectly
love
fine.
someone, if you're bad for the other person for whatever reason, doesn't have to be abuse, just could be a bad fit. Like if you love them, then you should let them go, because
Yeah,
you should be wanting their happiness. And if you
yeah,
are not conducive to their happiness, if you then still force them to stay with you,
true.
then do you really love them?
okay,
Or do you
so
love being with them?
okay, so what's the solution here then? Like, how do we move forward? Because you're saying entitlement, yeah. Like we're saying, and I don't disagree. I actually do think this generation that we're living in right now are very entitled and they are very individualistic. So
Yeah, I
moving,
was just about to say that's a part of my culture that I think, like, or just white culture in general, the individualism is something I do not think is superior to other cultures whatsoever.
you
No,
And
know,
this
no,
and
no,
that's
no.
the thing. That's the thing is the problem with that is we can't get we I think what most people should do in relationships is outline the structure of the relationship and how it moves going forward. So if you meet someone and you're dating and you've done the whole when you get like
yeah,
3 months or 4 months and you're settling into being boyfriend and girlfriend, you should have a sit down and say, hey, we're progressing this way, our trajectory is looking good, but we need to establish certain rules for the relationship so we understand how this thing moves in times of
I'm,
turmoil.
yeah,
Let's
I'm not
say,
sure if rules is the best word,
well,
because
whatever you
that
want to call it,
yeah,
boundaries or whatever, you have to
or yeah,
establish
boundaries, absolutely, boundaries, and just
they're the same thing as
what your
rules.
desires,
you have to
you want.
establish some type of order that
Yeah.
allows you to perform. So let's say me and my girlfriend come together and I say, look, we're sitting down, this is how our relationship is going to be structured, okay? I am going to take lead on all these matters that concern these things. You would take lead on all the matters that concern these things. And I would defer to you on these. You would defer to me on these. Even if you strongly feel against it, we'll have to, compromise on these things. Cool. We move forward. So when those things arise in the future, there is no argument. There is no, but I want to do this, but I want to do that. You just say, look, obviously I want to do this, but I respect you and I'm with you because I trust your judgment, and your judgment is gonna ultimately, you're gonna do things that benefit both of us and the relationship. So I'm gonna trust you to take the lead on this one. And that's what people should be doing. But most people, they want this 50-50. I want everything my way or the highway. If I don't take it the way I want it, I'm leaving. It's a bunch of bullshit. You need to establish almost an order to how things are done in your relationship, how you solve problems, how you attack situations, and you understand that when you come to hardship, you have a way to defer power to one or the other. And you leave it and you let it lie and you move forward, not bitter or salty.
The chat. Jennifer said the most beautiful thing that I think a lot of people are missing nowadays. He says, "I'm coming at this as a happily my woman. We just work stuff out together. We face the world as a team. Marriage is not a competition." I actually agree with that. And
exactly.
It's not,
so do I.
I don't agree with it because it sounds altruistic or it sounds like the right thing to say or anything like that. I actually agree with it because I actually think people see marriage as literally, I'm here now. I've got this person. This is what I want, and the more she fulfills it, the more I win. But if I don't fulfill, and when you look at it in that lens, in my opinion, you're not gonna look at it from, okay, what am I doing? Do you know what I mean? But I think that's what.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of focus on whether the other person is meeting up to expectations. Like, what are you doing?
The priest that wed us actually said the first few sessions that we had, it was actually on me. Like the focus was on me, because I kept saying she's doing this, she's doing this, she's doing this, and then the priest was like, okay, but what are you doing? Yeah, that and then
classic.
And then, doing? He put it to what I'm doing. So I list out everything that I'm doing. I'm like, Oscar, am I lying in this? She was like, no, and everything I put out was just, I'm doing this, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm doing all this, and all she does, the highest she does is clean and smoke weed. That was the context. But we could never communicate. We could never talk. We could never work out things. And that was, what I mean? And
this is why it's so important to I think most people in the West don't like it, but that's why it's important to have some type of structure or hierarchy in the relationship. The way you
don't think you need, as someone from the West, I don't think you need order or I don't even think you need order or structure. That I think communication is what it boils down to.
Because there's always a situation to where you butt heads, but you need to always defer to someone on certain situations. That's all I'm saying.
I don't agree. Why do I need to defer to someone? Like, instead of just talk it out.
But what if they don't want to budge? If they don't want to budge, what are you doing? You concede?
Well, if they don't want to budge, they have a reason for it. Then I'll check if I maybe can budge, and if I also don't want to budge, then we'll talk about the fact that neither of us will budge and how we're going to solve that.
But then how do you solve it if none of you want to budge? Someone has to budge.
No, you go external.
But first you're talking about the stuff, and then one of them does, and then you don't want to budge, and then you talk about the fact that neither of you are budging, and that there needs to be something done about that.
Then who budges?
That depends on how that conversation goes.
This is what I'm saying. But
I've been in so many of these situations, and we could always work it out.
But if you understood the hierarchy, you could save yourself all that damn time and just say, hey, I want to do this, take it into consideration, but I trust what you're going to do. Boom. Sorted. And now you don't have to waste any more time. You can tackle other situations.
I will say this.
If that is what works for you, that's fine. You do you. I don't want the word hierarchy within a 10-mile radius of my relationship.
I'm so finished. I will say this.
There always is one, regardless of what you want to say.
No, there was certainly not one in my relationship.
In support, I will say this, guys.
Like someone more than the other.
You know what?
No.
You know what? I'm gonna get a soundboard. I'm going to get a soundboard. I'm going to get a soundboard so that when you guys talk, you guys keep butting heads like this, I can interrupt.
There's always someone who leaves. It's facts.
All right. The point I'm saying is,
we broke up mutually.
The point I'm saying is, I don't think hierarchy works all the time. It works.
Someone got left.
It serves as a good way so that everyone knows what works, what everyone's doing, etc. Blah blah. But there has to be a point.
Isn't
in
the
which,
word roles better than hierarchy then?
But did you hear what I said though? I said you have to defer to things in situations where that person excels. That's what I was saying earlier. If you caught what I said.
Okay, but maybe the word roles is then better than hierarchy, because hierarchy sounds like absolute, like one person is higher than the other person.
He did say at the start that he's from a culture where, you know.
Yeah, well, certainly, and
I'm
I
at the
respect
top.
that, but I'm
I'm
not
at the
sure if
top.
that applies to people from other cultures as well.
The point I'm trying to make is even with that hierarchy, there still has to be communication one way or the other.
100%.
Of course, I'm not denying that.
Like the hierarchy cannot save a breakdown in communication.
No.
I
just don't want to be in a situation where if things go downhill, one person gets their way because they're higher in the hierarchy or something.
No, the point I'm trying to make is because of that hierarchy, I was the one that had to bear the brunt for the first few weeks of the couples therapy, like that we were doing, because we were literally seeing the priest every 2-3 days. That's how volatile it was. So for all those ones, because I was the man, I had to account for everything, and I did account for most things before it turned to her. So that was the hierarchy, because I was the one that was leading the house.
As you should.
I think that
I was exhausted, by the way. I was completely checked out.
Would you have preferred it? Would you have preferred it if that was not the case?
No, I want it to be the case because it put me in a position to reveal everything that was revealed later on when I kept.
Was it then a hierarchy, or was it something that you wanted to do?
No, it was definitely a hierarchy, 100%.
So it's a hierarchy, but not something you wanted to do, but you did not want it to be different.
I will tell you this. If it was the other way around and it was something I wanted to do, it would have been her that was getting the brunt first and foremost.
Why does one of them need to get the brunt of it?
Because
Why
there
not?
was a breakdown in a relationship. There was a breakdown in a relationship.
You could also both bear the brunt of it.
You can't talk to two people at the same time. Someone has to go first. It's like,
go first, sure, yeah.
Yeah, someone has to go first. So in this case, I was the plaintiff. I had to present why my household is falling apart. I had to show that.
In that sense, yeah. Sorry, I missed some contextual bits.
So that was the hierarchy that we're talking about, but that hierarchy still didn't fix the communication part or the breakdown of our relationship. What fixed it was the constant talking, and then we got to the heart of the problem, which was she just did not care. But it was even deeper than that, because it wasn't just she didn't care. She really didn't think that anyone would come to her with the amount of kids that she had and with the life that she's led. She didn't believe it. So
it's a miracle you did, bro.
So she just self-sabotaged. Given you're right, it was a miracle that it was my.
But you see, this is God working for you, because He said, "Bro, you don't deserve this." God was working for you to save you from a life of just.
I get that. I've been single for 4 years now. I don't care about that. 5 years now, but that's not the issue. The point I'm trying to make is, I was the one that took the relationship to the priest. I was the one doing all those things, doing the communication. She wasn't doing anything, because if it was up to her, nothing would have
kept it. Nothing would change.
We would have been there for years and years and years.
And she'd be fucking weird.
I could not have got an annulment.
I'm just not entirely convinced that the word hierarchy necessarily needs to have applied there for that to have happened in that way, because if there was no hierarchy, I could equally see like one person going to a therapist or priest or whatever.
No one was going to take the lead. No one was going to take in that relationship. The way
good relationship.
No, but taking the lead and there being a hierarchy are two different things.
That's what
a good relationship needs to operate like an amazing Fortune 500 company. That's how it needs to work.
Anyway, I think the most important advice that I have for everyone is just before you get into a relationship,
know your partner.
make sure that you can communicate about everything,
Absolutely.
especially the hard stuff. Because if
Facts.
you can't communicate about it while it's easy, you're not going to be able to communicate about it when it gets hard.
And
Not when
Amen.
the emotions are running high, not
absolutely.
when you're feeling triggered. Like,
Preach.
it doesn't matter how hot they are, how good the sex is, if you do that
Sometimes
before
it does
marriage.
cloud the mind.
It doesn't matter.
Sometimes it does. It does.
If
go-
you
How
cannot,
good.
Hey,
if you
hey,
cannot
hey.
communicate with them, don't do
Hot.
it.
Passionate. Just buddies on buddies. Just
Like, if you want to stay fuck buddies, that's fine, but don't get into a relationship if you can't communicate. Like, there's someone that feelings is a big word, but there's something that I find attractive that I like doing some horizontal dances with from time to time. But I cannot talk with him for shit. Like, if to say he is the opposite of an open book is an understatement. Like, it's basically you have to dig to the core of the earth and then do a 10-year study, and then you might be able to get 3 words out of him.
God damn. Them horizontal dances,
Three.
you got a lot.
But yeah,
Nice.
we're gonna close
But
out now.
that's why I know I would never want a relationship with him, because that's just not gonna work.
That's why.
That's absolutely not gonna work. Make sure you can communicate. That's the most important thing.
No,
That's
100%.
100% the most important thing.
Communication is key.
Damn. No, but
Make
that's-
sure you can talk about your desires, not what you want the other person to do, but what you would like the other person to do, and they can say, "Oh yeah, I can do that," or "No, I don't want to do that," and then bye.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Before you close out, Sally, yeah.
Go
I just
on.
want to leave everyone with scripture here, okay? For people who are
Yeah,
Christian in the crowd. No, let me land this, okay? Let me land this plane.
Go
Okay,
on.
this is from 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 to 5. Okay? Are you ready for this?
Timothy.
Timothy!
Timothy.
Now go on, bro.
In the last days, perilous times shall come.
I didn't want this
For
to-
men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away, people. Turn away.
Now,
The end.
now
Thank
the
you.
okay, all right. That was because I'm guessing he did that because of Crowder's beliefs, but I always keep it to myself. I don't want this show to go down that route, but I appreciate the scripture because it does kind of sum up everything that I'm seeing going on, because but yeah, I haven't read it.
I'm not religious, but I do agree with the advice
Yeah,
to turn away from those kinds of people.
Turn away. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Like, people like that will ruin your life. In the case of my ex, I always look at it in a place of positivity, not negativity. In a place of learning, not hating. In a place of love, not. Well, I just said it. I just said it, because end of the day, what that taught me was ultimately I need to find a communicator, someone who I can actually talk to, someone who actually respects me. End of.
And that's the key. Respect. Oh.
Yeah. Because what I'm seeing with everything that's going on is nobody has respect for each other.
Yes, and
It's
even
lost.
though I would think that the word respect should be absolutely interpreted in that case as valuing the other person, not in the obedience type thing, because I think that demanding respect in the form of obedience is actually not respecting the other person and not respecting their agency and
is
their.
obedience also a synonym for respect? I don't
No,
think
but
they
there
marry
are
each other
people like
that.
I think Crowder did that in his video where he was like discipline and respect, and he didn't mean respect like just. I mean, respect is not something you can demand.
Yeah, I agree with that. But if he felt disrespected at one point and he's recalling that, that's different.
Oh, respect. Here we go. Definition.
Yeah, but that's the wrong interpretation of respect.
Let's get the definition here. a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something
Yeah, that's not
elicited
obedience.
by their abilities, qualities, or achievements.
Yeah, that's not obedience. That's not obedience. But I get where you're
No, no,
coming
no,
from. I get
not
where you're
not
coming
as a
from.
noun, but if,
So
if people are talking like respect, like discipline and respect, then they're not talking about you should admire me or something. That's not.
No, in the sense of Crowder, I think he
I think
feels
it
a
was
lack of
disrespect.
admiration
Yeah.
for his abilities,
Yeah.
qualities, and achievements because she's not willing to have the discipline to do what he's telling her because
No,
he
I
has
think
achieved.
I think he just feels entitled.
No.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
his
the end of it.
problem.
No,
It's
I'm
his
not.
problem.
I'm not gonna budge.
No,
No,
it's his-
100%. You can
no,
interpret
it's
his
his-
entitlement. No, listen. Put it this way, yeah. If someone who's a millionaire, yeah, let me just put it this way. If someone who's a millionaire, a multi-millionaire entrepreneur, whatever, tells you, hey, I need you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you don't listen,
Then fuck him.
if you don't listen, you don't take what he says as trying to draw people out here as credible advice to better yourself as an individual.
I am not
If you
like
if
I
you
am-
lack discipline, if you lack in discipline in your life, there's so many other areas that will show,
I'm sorry.
and that where you be deficient.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry,
I'm not.
bro,
let's not get
bro,
into this because
bro.
that was absolutely not what he meant.
Bro, given.
No.
Given, I'll be honest here. You
Go on.
even you lost me there because in all fairness, if you feel disrespected by anybody, that's on you. You are the one that feels disrespected.
Well,
You are the
yeah,
one that has to react to that disrespect, and the way
Yeah.
that you react to the disrespect is
Yeah.
everything.
100%.
That's paramount. Like if
No,
you
100%.
don't, yeah,
He
so,
reacted the
so
wrong way
it
to
was
disrespect, yes.
it was his problem to deal with. If he feel
100%.
yeah. So in terms of him saying you don't give me respect, it should be more of what am I doing that she doesn't respect me? I've done this. I've done this.
Maybe stop abusing her.
No, but
No. But again, this is the thing.
but that switching language is everything.
Maybe start respecting her.
Yeah, but that switching language. But you don't know if he's disrespecting her or not. That's what I'm trying to
He
say.
was literally respecting her that
I know
entire
what we
video.
saw. I know what we saw, but what was apparent was there is a build-up here that we don't know. So us talking now and commenting on it, all I'm saying is, I know what I saw in the video, but I can also look at both of them and be like, right, you're saying the common denominator here is he is offended by something, and the offense was you don't respect me, right? So it shouldn't be you respect me.
That should not be an offense.
That's my point. Let me land the point, because what I'm saying is it shouldn't be you show me respect. You show me respect. It shouldn't be that. It should be what am I actually doing that you can't show me admiration for all these things that I've done. What is it that I'm doing that you can't show me basic respect? If it was delivered that way, I am 100% certain that you would not be thinking he is the bad guy in this scenario. No. You see what I mean? It's literally the way he said
No,
it.
it would mitigate factors a bit.
No.
I still
Bear in
wouldn't be
mind,
convinced that it was not abusive.
If he actually said what he said, babe, I understand you're upset, but what is, I feel like, is lack of respect coming to me here. But what have I done to
cause this lack of respect? Why can't you
to
respect
not get
me?
respect from you?
Yeah,
what have I done? And then he's trying to seek clarity. You can't say
Yeah,
that.
okay, but then we wouldn't have seen this video.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
The way
trying to
he
say.
worded it
Without
was not correct,
context, this is all we can do. Conjecture. What we saw on the video was him.
Abusive.
What
I'm
we-
not gonna budge. There's no context
I'm
needed.
not trying to make you to budge. I'm trying to get you to see one side or the other. Because end of the day, if he's having that grievance, the way he reacted to it is literally not doing him any favors. Because that could be, put it this way, that could be the one moment. Like let's go for the extreme here. He has been quiet for the entire relationship. Quiet, not saying anything, not doing anything, blah blah. This is the moment that he's like, "Fuck it, why don't you respect me?" Because he reacts like that. You see that?
No, 100%.
You see
But
that?
here's
You
a
be
good
like,
question. Yeah?
No.
Here's a good question.
No.
Listen,
I am not saying
no,
this is
listen.
what happened. I'm not saying this is what happened.
No,
by the way.
Sally,
I'm saying the chances of that being the case are microscopically
It's
small.
not microscopic.
No,
it's actually
if
not
it's not
microscopic.
No, there are too
If-
many. There are
No,
too many patterns
because
in
there
that
would be more
conversation
videos.
that
There would be
cannot
more
take
videos.
place if
There
that
would be
was
more
the first
videos.
time that happened.
There would be more videos. There would have been more videos leaked if
That
that was the case.
I like just if this is all the information we have.
If this
I
was a
know
recurring
that.
thing, there would have been more videos.
I'm just trying to bring out a
The
teachable moment.
don't need to
I'm
be
literally
like
just trying to bring out a
that
teachable
is
moment.
that's a really weird argument.
They have a
No,
CCTV
I'm
in
trying
the
to
house.
bring out a teachable moment. That's all I'm doing. I'm literally
Yeah,
trying to.
it maybe
I'm not
it
saying
doesn't
that's
all
what happened.
it doesn't all take place in the backyard. It could have taken place in the car where it wasn't filmed. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there's just no way that that was
we
the
know
first
nothing.
time. It's just inconceivable. No.
Yeah, I think we know nothing. I think for us
Yeah,
to
we
say
don't
that
know,
it was
but
the first time or the 10th time, we
I
don't
can
know.
say with 99% certainty, I'll always leave at least. I always leave 1%. I can say with 99% certainty that was not the first time that happened, and she was not at fault.
Wait.
But
Okay,
this
never
thing,
mind.
this thing, Merel,
Never mind.
Are you putting
let's
yourself?
just end
Wait,
it
listen,
here.
2 seconds.
Okay.
Merel, are you putting yourself in both their shoes, or you
Yes.
just putting yourself? Okay, so Merel, how would you react if your partner, let's say, Caleb was your partner, and
Okay.
you were?
I would tap Merel, by the way.
No, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
There is
man.
a
Sorry,
channel
sorry.
between us.
Oh my gosh. So we're hitting strides, yeah. Merel, you're very successful, you're doing your thing, you're very organized, and you ask 3 things of Caleb, hey, can you take out the trash? Hey,
Yeah.
can you make sure you just dust the top of the cupboard? And hey, can you just make sure that we have some steaks in the house? I've got a really busy day, I'll be back, around 5 p.m. Just these 3 things. Can you do that? Cool. You get home, it hasn't been done. And this keeps happening over and over again. What would you do?
Not respond like that under any circumstances.
That's fair.
No, but what would you do? What would you do?
Well, I would have talked about it long before it kept happening over and over again. And I would ask, because obviously there's something bothering him
But again,
that prevents him from doing it.
This is the thing about this situation where we don't have the full context, so it's very hard to just talk about this.
I would
thing.
communicate
But
about it.
Yeah.
It could be a possibility that he's been communicating this, and she said, "Okay, yes, I'll have more
Yes.
discipline," and then
Absolutely.
she goes back and doesn't do the shit she said she was going to do, and then
Yeah,
now
and
he's
then
like,
I'll talk about that. Like I'll talk about
But
the
that
fact that
doesn't- but-
you've made the same promise a couple of times and you
But we
keep
don't
not
know
keeping
if
that promise.
But we don't know if that's happened before. We don't know if that's happened.
Exactly.
That's
No, but you're
what
asking
has
me what
happened.
I would do. You're asking me what I would do.
I know,
Yeah,
but
but
I'm
it's a
trying to
conjecture
I'm
still to make a
I'm trying
point.
to make a point that we don't know if that's the situation that could have happened in their relationship. And he's got to the point where he's saying,
Well, I'm pretty sure
I think-
that's not happened.
I keep asking you for discipline and to be able to do shit I'm telling you, and you just keep not doing it. It's annoying me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm never going to tell someone to do something.
What?
No, I'm gonna ask them. And if they say yes, great. If they say no, then it's no.
But if the person said yes, they would do it, but they don't keep doing it.
Yes, then I would talk about, hey, you promised to do something, you didn't keep that promise,
Then you
what's
say
up?
that, hey, you lack a certain level of discipline where
No.
you can't do this shit I ask you to do, and you agree, and you just kind of like,
No, I'm not gonna say it's a matter of discipline. I don't think in terms of discipline. Maybe something happened and they just didn't have time.
By the way,
I would ask why it didn't happen.
all of this that we're talking about, we're not invalidating her experience here, by the way. It's just conjecture to
Yeah.
basically say, one,
Oh, he was 100% in the wrong, yeah.
what we saw there was wrong, but without extra footage, without hearing everything, because we still haven't seen anything.
And paint a fuller picture, yeah.
Yeah, so we either have to wait for everything before jumping to judgment, or we jump to judgment and keep an open mind, because what I'm seeing here could literally be the one. Like honestly, I've been in this situation so much in school. Like I learned this.
Yes, but these are
thing.
adults.
No, but like let me just make the point. The point I'm trying to say is I've seen this situation more in school where there are kids that will literally throw paper balls at me. The teacher didn't see it. They will cause trouble, etc. And the moment that I decide to basically like say stop it, basically, the teacher hears that and turns around and be like, "Fuck," and then I'm in trouble.
Sure, I've been in that situation a lot. Like,
That's
I frequently have anxiety dreams about that kind of stuff, but that is not what we saw happening in that video. There's almost, like, except for that tiny 1%, there's no conceivable situation where that could have been a justified, warranted response. There is none.
And we're gonna
like maybe a 1 in a 15 billion chance that things are so exceedingly weird that it happens. I don't see if that's the point of the relationship where you're treating your partner like that. You should have left a long time ago.
To be quite fair, speaking in this much absolute with so little evidence and just based on one piece of evidence is kind of I'm gonna say it's really callous to people that have actually been in a situation in which they have, it's like the cops walking in on you shouting and then they grab you and restrain you. You're like, why are you restraining me? Before you got here, she was doing this. It's kind of like that.
We have more than just one person shouting. We have what he says, how he says this, how she responds, what she tries to do, how he responds to that.
I understand.
Like, we have a lot of data in that video.
I understand, but that doesn't still
a 3-minute video though. Like
that really doesn't still that even with that video, it still doesn't paint the picture.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
What could be said in 3 minutes and how people act in 3 minutes could not be completely representative of how something was happening the whole hour. Like, it could be the point where someone
like
got
we
to
actually
a breaking
don't know
point.
the context. Like,
because it looks like they were in that garden for quite some time. So at some point, that footage has just been trimmed to just that small portion at the end.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that in a proper, good, healthy relationship, that should never have happened.
Well,
I think this is interesting.
If you come to that point, your relationship is already really fucking unhealthy.
Wait. Let me ask this question. Given,
I know humans are not infallible, but that's what I'm saying. That relationship is not healthy.
Let me ask this question.
No, but it's how you get through that matters.
Merel, based on everything that you observed, when do you hypothesize is the moment that this relationship turned from healthy to unhealthy? Because I don't think
I think that happened years earlier.
Okay, but give me a time. It's 10 years. We know it's 10 years. So give me a time frame when this actually became unhealthy.
How quick do you think it became unhealthy?
I don't know.
At the beginning?
It might have been, because I have enough evidence to think that a lot of the unhealthy stuff in the relationship is based on his ideology, in a sense, on the way he views women and marriage and relationships.
So you think that this
might have been? It could have turned sour later. Like 10 years is a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So just so that I understand.
I'm just sure that it was already sour before then. Before the video, it was already not healthy.
So let's say for 8 years it's been unhealthy. 7
could be 1,
6,
could be 7, could be
that's what
10,
I'm trying to say.
Be...
If it's 1 year unhealthy, something went wrong there that is spilling over in that video.
And I'm not denying that.
Yeah, but for you to speak in absolute, you kind of are, because what you've done is box it in to say for so long they've been doing this, and I can tell from the pattern when. No,
and because I'm not making a statement on how long this has been going on. I'm making a statement on that it has been going on for longer than that video.
I literally just quote your words back to you. Literally just done that. You literally said, I asked you before going on that tangent. I actually asked you how long do do you think this has been going on? How long?
And
has
I
it been
said, I
ongoing
don't
for?
know.
No,
It
no,
could be
no.
anywhere from the start of the relationship to somewhere in the last year.
That's literally.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
That's the entirety of the
you.
relationship. I don't know. Just before this video happened.
So you didn't say it's been going on for a long time based on what you saw, based on the dynamics there. You didn't
She
say
said
we're
that.
going
She
for a
said that.
long time. You didn't say
She
that.
said that. She said that. She said that.
Are
But
you
it's
talking about like
okay.
really in the
Move
beginning?
forward.
Because then I was more talking about like
No.
that it was
Right now.
conceivably not the first time that happened.
It's not the first
Because
time.
those
No.
patterns don't happen overnight.
No, of course not. But
No.
but
Like this is
but
not something that would have developed in a week.
but based on what you've painted, it is not possible that this has been an 8-9 year unhealthy relationship, and then bang, this is it. It seems more likely that
these things aren't sudden.
no, they're not. I'm trying to say it's most likely a year or two that it starts going sour. I don't think you have kids with someone that you know that you are unhealthily.
Oh
like,
no, that happens a lot actually.
All right. Well,
What I'm trying to say is that
another pandemic out here.
what I'm trying to say is that there is no, like what I said is in a healthy relationship this should not be occurring. So if I say this is not a healthy relationship, then that is internally consistent.
No, but this is you can say this is not a healthy moment in a relationship, but to say it's not a healthy
Patterns
relationship.
show that this is not just a moment. This has happened
Obviously, they're
before.
broken up. Yeah, but I'm saying if we just in terms of context for their relationship, it's probably happened before because they're divorcing now.
yeah.
So you have to.
Yeah, and because I see it in the patterns of their behavior.
Yeah, but
And the fact that they're divorcing as well.
What
is
I'm
a big
trying to
indicator.
say is clearly there has been an established structure for so long, and she has deviated from that structure to provoke this response, and she's just not having it anymore. But
she wants
No,
to be
I fundamentally don't agree with the framing that she is at fault for deviating from the structure.
who said she's
Okay,
at fault?
no.
You said that.
Okay, repeat.
Like
what?
she provoked it. It's basically victim blaming.
How?
By saying she provoked this.
How?
That's like saying well, if you walk on the street in a short dress and you get raped, then you provoked it.
This is what I said before I could even caveat. This is exactly what I said. It seems like there has been something that has been agreed to for X amount of time, and she has deviated from that.
So basically, what he's saying is
no, I don't agree.
She was performing duties throughout the marriage, and eventually there was a point where she stopped doing the things she was doing before, and he feels like, why are you not doing stuff? Essentially,
well, where do you get the data that she stopped doing things she did
from his
before?
Words. No one reacts like that.
Lack of respect and discipline.
No, but he never said you used to do these things and now you don't.
But before,
what do you think discipline means?
No, but you're lambasting me for saying that at some point in the past. No, let me finish. You're criticizing me for saying that at some point in the past a relationship turned sour. You're like, well, she was doing things and then she stopped doing things, and I'm like, we don't have that data.
That's literally what he was lamenting.
And you're accepting his word as truth.
Why would that be?
Because he can have a delusional view of the relationship and unreasonable demands.
Merel, she could be pretending that she's doing all this stuff to try and get a reaction because she knows she's going to use the same footage to put in a case of divorce because she wants to leave. These all are possibilities. So for us to sit here...
Yes, and that is like pure victim-blaming nonsense. If that is like
Johnny Depp again.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Wait, this is insane. Wait a second. How comes when Steve was here?
I didn't get to that conclusion with Amber Heard with far more proof than this.
One second. How comes when Steve was here, yeah, and we know about Mason Greenwood, right? We saw the tape, and then Steve said, "Oh, there was 10 minutes of that tape. We only got to see 1 minute of it, and it was this. So it could have been role play." You were fine with that analogy. But this is the same
Yeah.
scenario. This is the
No.
same scenario where we're like, we actually don't know the other 10
The other-
years.
Yeah.
You see what the difference is that the contents are far different.
How do you listen? The girl was
No, but
saying
Merel,
the
Merel,
things,
no,
the
I
things
don't
we
want to
heard,
do
like the
this.
things we heard, like for the Mason Greenwood thing, we did not have video, we did not have body language, we did not
You
have.
had a screaming no. You had a screaming.
We
And
still
Steve
did not
came
have.
in.
We
no,
had.
no, 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 no.
We
So
did
Merel,
have
Merel,
no video.
No.
Instead of disagreeing, can you just let me finish what I'm saying? Like, we had no video. We had 1 minute instead of 3.5. We didn't have body language. We didn't have like the movements and such, and it was not a full conversation. It was a very, very, very short amount of time, and things in the conversation, in that video, in that soundbite, already didn't sit right with me.
Question, Merel. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is it at
Let's
all
end down
possible
this.
that they both had a heated argument before that point, and she just got to the point where she's like, I'm fed up with arguing, and she's like, look, let's just chill, let's just stop. I love you, I just want to leave, but I love you, but I just want to leave because I'm fed up of arguing. Is that a possibility that they had a heated discussion, both of them screaming at each other, and then she says, you know what, I just want to leave. So he cracked a cigar and he started smoking. He's like, I want to chill too. Is that possible? Is it possible that the body language was her basically saying, I'm fed up of this situation. We had the whole spout, we blew up, and now I'm tired. I just want to leave. I want to go.
If that
wanna
is
leave.
actually the case, I will eat my shoe.
Is it possible though? That's what I'm asking. Is it
I mean, in a basic theoretical philosophical
It
way,
is possible.
it could
Yeah,
be,
it's
but like a
possible.
1 in a billion chance.
Well, okay, not 1 in a billion. Come on, that's
What is
It
this?
No,
This
it's
exaggeration.
not.
It
Why
is
are you
1,000
exaggerating?
times more likely that is not the case. Why are you so eager to choose that interpretation?
Because you literally
No. Because we don't know. Because we're sitting
Yeah, we
here-
don't know. So if we don't know, why don't we go with the more likely interpretation based on the data that we do have?
So why did you go 50-50 with Steve and say actually it could be role play?
I just summed up
She
why.
summed it up, Sally. She summed it up. But in this situation, we're talking on it like he had some choice words to say. She said what she had to say. It seemed like he wanted to keep talking, and she was finished because she was fed up. So, in what he was saying, he could be displaying what he feels is inadequacies from her side, and that's what Cindy was saying earlier. That he's saying this discipline and respect, because maybe beforehand she probably had that for him, and now he feels like that's gone, so he's questioning it. That's what Sally was saying, that there could just be a change on her side, but we don't know. We don't know.
I just don't understand why you deem that more likely than the opposite.
More likely. They're equally as likely. We don't know. That's what
Why
we're
do you
saying.
even
real
deem them
scenarios.
equally likely?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
Given the data that we have, it fits perfectly in the situation as I described it, and it is like really difficult to fit it in your description.
You know the climate we live in right now. Where if a woman just says the word abuse, it changes the
Yeah,
context.
so
of
you're
the conversation.
basing this on gut feeling,
No,
not on the
basing
data.
I'm basing this on the data, not gut feeling.
everything that's been
No, but we don't have data that suggests that she was faking it.
nobody's saying she's faking it.
No, listen.
You're saying it's equally likely that it's not her fault as that it is her fault? Well, I'm like, it fits
nobody's
perfectly
saying-
in this pattern.
nobody's-
It doesn't fit in another pattern.
Crowder was doing, his reaction in the video clip itself is wrong.
Yes.
Yet she is not at fault about the way he's reacting.
Absolutely
He
not.
is wrong. But what we are saying here is
There is more to the
we-
story.
more to the story. We
Even
don't
Mayce
know.
said that. Even Mayce said,
We
wait.
don't
What?
know. That's what we're saying. We don't know. So for us to assume about what's been happening beforehand is found, because we don't know.
Yeah.
We can assume that he's been doing this all this time. We can assume he hasn't, but we don't know. So for us to assume anything is asinine because we don't know. That's what we're saying. It could have been that
it's
they
a 1
argued.
billion opportunity. Like
It could have been that she's
possibilities.
been meek the whole time. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
Like if there if you walk into a room and you see a broken vase on the floor, and on the couch there's someone asleep, and there's also a very enthusiastic, energetic puppy running around the room that's like jumping up and down and everything. Are you then going to say, well, I don't know what happened, so it's equally likely that the sleeping person knocked the vase over or that the dog knocked it over?
Not the same
Now,
whatsoever.
now
Good
that,
try, good try,
now
good try,
that
good try.
is a
Good try.
one
Not
in
the
a
same.
billion
Not the same,
theoretical,
whatever.
like universe that you could not. That is far fetched.
Yeah,
I
good
don't
try.
know how you
But
can.
the situation
I
is
don't know.
The
you
answer
don't
was
have
valid.
It's
data on
not
what
a
happened
likely
before.
situation. It's not
The answer was
even
valid.
like.
Like you don't know what happened before.
It's not comparable. These are two adult humans. We know humans have a tendency to argue bombastically, and someone is fed up with the
And
argument.
it is
and just
precisely those tendencies that I'm basing my opinion on.
Yeah,
yes, but the thing is, look, if the argument, let's say it was different, yeah. Let's say they had the argument, yeah. They were both shouting at each other. Crowder was shouting at her too, but then Crowder was the one who said, you know what, I'm fed up. I'm done. I just want to leave. If that video came out of him trying to dispel and stop the argument because he's fed up of arguing, even though before he was shouting, we can't then assume that she's just been the wrong one the whole time because she's been shouting at him. We don't know what happened before. He could have done something to cause that reaction from her. That's what we're saying.
I think that you're fundamentally misunderstanding what I'm trying to explain about this, because
But
this
in
is
both
not
scenarios, he is
Don't
wrong.
interrupt me.
In both scenarios, he's wrong.
Stop.
No. I've been trying to.
I started my sentence, and before I got 4 words in, you started yelling again. Like, can I just say what I wanted to say?
Go on.
I am fundamentally not seeing this as a situation where one person is just yelling at the other person, because there's so much more happening. Human behavior runs in patterns. Like, there's patterns to how someone responds, and how, like, patterns of behavior and of psychology, and like knowing how PTSD works and all that kind of stuff. And this just, what they do, what they say it, how they do it, it does not fit easily in a pattern of them both shouting at each other and then this happening. It does not follow based on how they are talking, what they're saying. Like, that is not.
But this is the thing, you're assuming because you used buzzwords like wifely duties.
Now you're just underestimating my intelligence.
Let's just given.
No, you're making an assumption of, I base it on buzzwords.
Merel.
I didn't just base it on buzzwords.
Merel, just.
But this is what I'm saying, because someone could equally say that you base it on buzzwords.
Given. Let's just ask this question. Merel, is there any other feasible scenario that could have happened? Is this the only scenario? Is there any other feasible scenario that could provide more context? Any other? Or is the scenario that you have in your mind, is that the only one that is more probable? There's no other scenario that could be provided.
It would be so contrived. Like, I can never say anything with 100% certainty, and I said that before. Like, I always keep like 1% away for the unknowable. But it would be like, what kind of proof would you need to prove that Johnny Depp was the abuser all along? Like, that would need an insurmountable amount of proof to contradict everything we know about her, right?
But we know of the Johnny Depp case. What is happening right now?
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm trying to say is that even though we don't have 100% of the data, and there could always be more evidence, it's not like just one video will just suddenly make it impossible to still maintain that she was the abuser.
The point I'm making is, this is Johnny Depp in 2016, where there was no audio tapes, where there was nothing, there was no other counter evidence. It was just the bruises that was presented, and the Australia photos that was leaked to TMZ. Those were the only pieces of evidence. Based on that, you know he's dead, right? You know he's guilty, right?
Yeah, but that is not actually behavioral patterns. Like, a bruise doesn't say anything.
She's a slippery one, this one.
Never mind.
No, but I'm basing this just exactly on
The
their
cabinet video literally
patterns.
dropped. The cabinet video, we saw the cabinet video. We saw the Australia videos. All of these things in 2016. This predates the audio tapes that we got to hear. This predates everything else that we got to see, which was his injuries, all those things. Everything that we saw was not him. It was just her. So based on that, was Amber Heard the victim and he the abuser? Because we saw the video, we saw the photos. That's it.
Well, the first time I saw that kitchen video, I was already not entirely like something didn't sit right with me. And I had the same thing with the Mason Greenwood clip that we listened to. Something didn't sit right with me. And now this time I'm like, this is textbook how these things happen.
You just said something just doesn't sit right. It's just your gut. Like it's just your gut.
No, I've been trying to explain it.
Yeah, but that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you. Are there any other possibilities?
Those behaviors can be due to other things apart from just that one scenario. That's what we're saying. The way they're moving, their body language, it could be just she's tired of the situation and she's just like, bro, we've been arguing about this for like the last 2 days. I'm tired. I'm pregnant. I'm just tired. Again, that could be another scenario. That's all we're saying.
No, I see her displaying way too many. Like I could list at least 6, 7, 8 things that are extremely typical of someone who's been experiencing physical abuse. And there are so many signs from his side of an abuser. Like there's a list of them in just that video. I was trying to list them, and I didn't even get through 5 minutes before the page was already full of red flags. Like, there's too many of them. Like the way she tries to pacify him, the way she keeps up her hands all the time, like the way that he raises his voice at certain points. Like it's very hard to explain in words, also because this is not my native language. Let's be honest. But if you could look inside my head, if I could just zap my brain to you, you would understand that what I'm basing this on.
We understand.
We already understand it. It's just for some reason, it's like you want us to agree that is.
Well, evidently you don't, since you just accused me of it being a gut feeling, not you, but given.
Yeah, but we.
I just have trouble putting it into words, but it's not just gut feeling. Like there's actual indicators of.
Well, yes, but could those indicators be indicators of something else as well? That's what we're saying.
It would be, as I said, a hilariously tiny chance. Like if you got into the room.
Let me put it this way, yeah. When I have arguments with people, or like arguments with like a discussion or something, or it gets heated or something, when I get tired, I'm like, bro, I'm tired. Let's just stop. Let's relax. I just want to go to bed. I want to sleep. I'm done.
But would you then also say, I love you? Like, who would you like me to ask? Would you also try to pacify them? Would you try to pacify them?
So they don't get mad. Yes.
It's classic placating.
Yes.
No, but pacify, like in a fearful way. Because that is what was happening. Like, she kept throwing in, I love you, but your abuse is sick. Like, she said that literally. This is not someone who's just had an argument and was just like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm gonna go. You're not gonna say, I love you.
Oh my no!
But your abuse is sick.
Merel given.
No. This is a good example. This is a very good example. I was seeing someone once, yeah. And whenever we're dating, yeah, I told them my expectations and rules for the relationship, whatever. I said, I expect this. I like someone who's physically fit, upkeep. Keeps himself physically fit, healthy. This is what I like. And when it came push comes to shove, and I said, look. And they asked me, would you not stay with me if I was, would you stay with me if I was fat? And I said, no, I wouldn't. And then they were like, oh no, that's so toxic, that's abusive, And I'm there like, that's not abusive, that's not toxic. But someone could just say those things because that's the narrative they want to paint in their mind. Oh, you want to restrict me, you're restrict me. It's like, no, I just have expectations as an individual. I want you to do things as much as you want me to do certain things. It's that simple. And if someone's not performing, it's not abuse that I'm trying to reinforce you to do the things that you're meant to be doing because I've spoke about these things before. It's not abuse. But people take it as, he's trying to control me. It's like, no, I told you this is what I expect. And you're not doing it. I'm reminding you. If you don't want to do it, leave. And that's why he said, we are at an impasse. Because it's over.
It's just a different perspective.
Exactly.
I don't see. I don't see how.
Point, that relationship was over because the person they wanted to be. I don't want to keep fit or be. Keep exercising. I just want to live my life and do what I want to do. And if I get fat, I get fat. It is what it is. I'm like, but that's not for me. I don't want that. So I'm out. Oh, that's toxic. That's not toxic whatsoever. But them in their mind, it's toxic. Bullshit.
It's a possibility. We're not saying it's. I'm not saying it's absolutely the case, but I do want to close out. I love you both. Yeah, love you both.
I love you too, Merel.
I appreciate your time.
I actually love you, Merel. I actually love you.
Jennifer,
Real
love you too. Thank you for the chat.
Dead serious, like from the depths of my heart. I love and respect both of you guys. It is amazing to do the show with you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been fun. It's been fun.
None of you have been abusive. That's all well and good. I'm saying I love you because.
Nah, I love you too, guys. Just
put your hand up.
Just don't get in a relationship with me because that's not gonna end well.
Oh wow! Now that's abusive. That's abusive right there. Threats already before a relationship.
That was not a threat.
Oh my god!
I'm joking. But yeah, I think we'll see each other again in 2 weeks. I'm gonna.
What's the next one? The Jonathan Majors thing is hilarious.
Yeah, like I do want to keep talking about this subject.
He's finished.
No problem, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us. We definitely have more live streams coming up. I need to go back on that list because I think there are topics that you wanted to talk about. So we'll definitely explore those, Merel. The Jonathan Majors one is insane. So we might touch on that.
I haven't even read into that. Like,
his career is over.
It's done. But
Marvel has kicked him out.
Did you see him with Megan Good and all that? Like,
no, I have no clue about the guy at all. All I know is I saw him in Loki. The end.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was a very
That's literally all. I don't know anything else than that.
Anyway, I'm going to close out now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for. Thank you, Given. Thank you, Merel. Thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You enjoyed the debate. Hopefully, we will see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.